Recording in progress. All right, we'll be starting in half a second here.
No sweat, boss.
Yeah, we'll get that guy opened up too.
When I was making Finch's Hero Forge, I played around with what it would look like with and without wings, and I was like, oh, this is just preposterous. I was like, without.
Oh yeah, if you bam.
You can make both. Hey, you can make both, and then I could just like flip them when
Push
you
them
do.
out? Oh, I should. Yeah.
I can.
Yes.
I have been doing it. I've been using my celestial minis, but
Angel form.
mm-hmm.
I need new dice.
I might abuse that just for Eastin taking his coat off and taking it and putting it on. Because he looks
Yeah.
quite dapper under his big coat. I think I always keep saying this, but you know, holidays are not that far away. This year I'm getting my first one. I think Eastin would probably be it.
Yeah.
Whatever happens, a giant rock could fall on him right now. I'm still gonna get the little mini. But,
Hey, do it.
I'll be right back.
No problem. I just need a half. I know I'm missing
Also,
something here.
We can't speak badness into existence because I've had, at least on our Sunday campaign, every time we do that,
Yes.
something bad happens.
Someone dies forever.
Someone, yeah. There was that one session where we were joking around about having
Backup
backups.
characters, yeah.
We were joking around about having backups, how brutal that campaign is, and 3 people died.
That session.
That session, we were like, oh, fuck.
I felt I was a witness to that one, or a second hand. I was a witness to the second massacre. The
So somebody
first
died in our
massacre,
session 1. That was
Yeah.
that.
Steph had called me and Vince, and she was like, they murdered all of us. It's so intense. But
I
that's
still
not
think-
gonna hurt.
I think the most unnerving was the fact that afterwards, Steph, you were like, I had 3 hit points. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I was a lone survivor on my Thursday game with 1 HP. I got the
Nice.
last hit on a dragon, no less, which is pretty good. And like, but it's a very shaky feeling.
yeah, for sure.
Not a great feeling. Not a great feeling.
Am I the only person who has about 40 characters in D&D Beyond that I just play with and go, what's this build look like?
Oh, no,
I have
we
I
a-
have quite a few.
No, we had in the one session where Griff's one character had like gotten obliterated, like within like a break, came back and had a new character.
And the
Immaculate.
next session is his second character died, didn't he?
Died. Yeah. Yep. Then she died.
Yes. She was one of the 3.
That was
But
brutal.
Well,
the Griff's
let's just
character
say
died.
that-
Had it
that-
coming.
Let's just say how that's a death wish, I guess, in D&D. That's just character wide. I don't know what it
You
is.
know, maybe you just like playing a lot of different characters.
Well, maybe. Once the opera, yeah, very possible. Okay, let's do this thing. I'm ready if you guys are ready.
Let's go.
So, okay, hang on. I gotta change the music here because we are in the wonderful city of Westrunn once more. No longer in the holes and dark, deep pits of the earth where onkegs are ready to eat you and burn your skin with acid. No. We're back in Westrunn, where everything's okay and nothing bad could happen. You are indeed. You guys have just finished slaying the Onkeg Queen. It was a daring battle, to say the least, and you guys maybe had a little reminder that you are not the heroes of Vox Machina. The legends that they have strode to are still on your horizons. But you still had a couple tricks up your sleeve, believe it or not. The Almirage companion of Yvain decided that they would take the front. The little hamster bunny unicorn thing that it was. And Yvain shrieked and chased after her loving companion to see that he was confronting the Onkeg Queen. And with a touch of the Almirage horn, the Onkeg Queen shrunk down after spinning up this strange shard. And became a normal-sized Onkeg. Still a female, still a breeding one, but one much more easier to kill. And kill it you did! Slew it with sword and bow and magical spell. And it died to all of your wrath. And more than that, your friend Honor revealed in the heat of battle a little something about herself, seeming to bind her magics with her own blood. She seems to be someone who uses darker magics, let's just put it at that, and has not yet been confronted about it. She also identified that the little shard that you possessed now was a shard of the Feywild itself, of that strange and manic panic. Whoops, we're not dying here. Manic plane. That's right, she is like Roxy. That manic plane of existence, the Feywild, was locked within this crystal, and it was gifted to Gyasi, as he does possess sorcery powers, to do with as he wills. With that, you all return to town with many carapaces and quickly decaying stomachs and so on and so forth, bought and sold and stored around town, looking like the hotshots that you are after having earned a little bit of gold, and bumped into some new friends. The first of which was a stranger walking into a tavern, big iron on his hip, and you all, well, actually, Ember met Eastin, a mysterious stranger of the north with a gun strapped to his back, who introduced him to the rest of the party. Meanwhile, Yvain got sucked into a game of dice, didn't really understand it, got knocked on her ass, and was saved by a fellow gambler by the name of Jewel of the Moon, a very strange creature the likes of which none of you have ever seen before, a half-human, half-cat person individual known as a tabaxi. And all 6 adventurers found themselves sitting down at the Sun-Kissed Tavern to share a meal. Jewel of Twilight, excuse me. So, if you guys would like to take that dinner, let's go ahead and get her done. So you guys all sit down in the sort of shock and awe of you all sort of getting a sense of one another. Some of you a little bit more uniquer creatures than others. Some of you a little bit more shadier. Some of you a little bit more lighter. But nonetheless, the Aurora Concordant is having dinner with 2 new strangers. Why don't we see where that goes?
I think the last thing that happened was Eastin had just asked about, and I can't remember how he phrased it, but he had just asked about the job and something about how he felt about a job, having spiritual benefits as opposed to financial benefits. Ringing a bell, kind of?
Yeah.
Okay.
Easton had been told by Ember that while the job's payout wasn't the best possible, it had a rightful ending, which Easton took as meant they did the right thing, and so he asked how that weighed on the rest of the others. Did they agree they did the right thing, or?
Well, yeah, of course we did the right thing, but with incredible, deepest admiration for Ember and nothing but incredible respect, I disagree a little bit with his characterization of the situation. I think that there is a perspective in which we could have been paid better in coin, but I think there's another perspective in which we were paid 2,000 gold more than we're counting, and that's not nothing.
He's gonna look at Ember, seeing what Ember has to say.
Oh, you're muted. Eric.
Ember? I think he's having a conversation.
Oh, okay.
Ember, are you with us?
See, here's the thing. While he's doing that, I can talk a little bit. See,
Okay.
Here's the thing. What we were actually paid in coin, and we agreed to it before we actually investigated and found out what the job would entail. And so certainly there's a value in learning a lesson about business, and that's not bad. But because of what we did, we were able to put Finch in full plate armor. It's not costing us anything extra. That's worth 1,500 gold. That's quite a lot of value, I think. And Zardvolg and I will be able to have breastplates and even though we're paying for the labor, that's still an extra 200 gold that we don't have to pay for. I guess I just think that that's really, really significant. And sometimes there are things you can't quantify. For instance, I can wear a breastplate, but metal affects my ability to do what I do. So usually I can't wear breastplates because they're made of metal. But being able to have one made of chitin means I'm doing a lot better. How do you quantify that? Or even Happy's gift.
And you all made it out alive, which...
I know we could have done better. But we all did. I don't know. I just thought we did pretty well. But I'm also the least experienced of everyone, so I could just be wrong.
No, I agree. I agree with what you're saying. I don't think that we would have ever been able to afford some of the things that we were gifted as a result of this. Like you said, with our armor, that alone would have taken us quite some time to amass enough to afford everything for everybody.
And we'll just do better with our negotiating from now on.
Yeah.
You certainly need to do that. I mean, if you do not know what kind of money you're going to get, you should not do the job.
Oh, I knew what kind of money we were going to get. It was a set price. It's just we agreed to it before we realized that we were going to die a few times before actually getting the job done.
The extent of the issue, yeah.
And as I was saying, you all made it out alive, which I am I right in saying that? Is it? Have you all been together? And I'm focusing on Jewel because she seemed like, you know, from what I got from the bits of the story, I don't know. I didn't catch your name. And
Jewel of Twilight. I have not been with these people before. This is the first time I have met them.
Oh, another new face. I no longer feel as awkward. But it's well, to be honest, I've never worked with anyone outside the Corps, so I'm not one to judge. From where I see it, you guys are all alive. You're sharing a meal, and you have new armor. That's about as great of a success as I can think of. But,
Which corps?
The Rifle Corps from Whitestone. If you.
You're from Whitestone?
Oh boy.
I don't know.
That's amazing! Have you been to the bakery? I've heard all about the Slayer's cake. I hear it's the best bakery in the world, and they have a thing called cookies. And cookies are supposed to be the best pastry ever.
I like to eat a lean diet of protein, but I have heard, and I'm like pulling at my ascot as soon as she was excited about it, right stuff immediately, and it's a lot of tugging at that for the rest of it.
Would we know what the Rifle Corps was, like when he was referencing that?
Make a history check.
Because I was going to say, I don't think we would really recognize his weapon either, right?
Yeah.
17.
We did a... Sorry, what'd you get?
17.
17?
I'm hoping Mom told me something about it.
Anybody else roll?
11. I don't know shit.
Okay.
18.
What'd you get, sorry,
18.
18. Well, here's the deal, Yvain. You come from about as remote a place as a person can. But you roll pretty good. You don't know what a rifle corps is, but you assume it is a military faction based on rifleman skills. You don't know the specifics. Finch, I would say, like, we rolled last time, like, about that you've heard of these weapons through stories of Percival de Rollo and so on and so forth, but you don't know what the rifle corps is. Zarvog, however, being having spent a little bit more time around the civilized lands, you've heard of the Whitestone Rifle Corps. You know that they're, having your own interest in sort of martial powers. You would know that Westrunn has 3 military factions. The first is the Pale Guard, which is essentially the town guard, who are typically wielding swords and such, but occasionally weapons. There is the larger, much more famous Rifle Corps, which is where the riflemen of Westrunn are. They are skilled wielders, marksmen of guns. The that's pretty much self-explanatory. It's a military faction based on the use of firearms. And last but not least, the elite Grey Hunters, which are supposed to be some of the more skilled and deadly hunters and warriors in Tal'Dorei, who utilize subterfuge, or I don't think you know that much, but they're just known to be incredibly lethal rifle-based warriors. So Rifle Corps would be probably a very impressive faction, martially.
All right.
It's truth be told, this is my first journey outside of the walls since I came from the east. Hence the name Eastin. I was told that's the direction from where I came. That's partially why I'm here, actually. I catch myself and I try and catch everyone's profile. Just a quick look. I'm on an important task. Truth be told, I came here to set up a network and establish myself. I guess in a way I feel as if I'm cheating by just joining your company, but it has been welcoming. Usually I don't say more than 2 words to folks, but I've kept count. I think I'm at word 47. 48?
Now it's 49. That's a problem. They just keep adding.
Yeah, they stack up a lot, especially the longer I talk. I've found that it's harder to end a conversation, but not that I want to end the conversation. I've besides fighting for your lives, have you all had how's Westrunn been? How have the sites, how have the locals treated you?
Wait, before we move on, you said something about setting up a network. Why do you want to set up a network?
Well, as I said, I'm on an important task, and it involves, frankly, I have a target I need to find, and what better way to find a target than see what other eyes have seen before you?
I do love a good target. Anything we might be familiar with?
Well, let's just say if you see another man wearing one of these, and I tap my musket, that we're seated now, right, at a table, or are we still standing? Okay.
Yeah.
Put my musket it's my baby. I tap it. To see another man wearing one of these, it'd be much appreciated if you pointed them out.
I have not yet.
Well,
How
about this?
Is that? Your weapon.
What was that?
Your weapon. I've never seen anything like it. What is it exactly? It looks like it fires projectiles of some sort.
It's a musket. It's hard to explain. Somewhere in between a bow and a magic, but that's perhaps a light way of calling it.
It's like a crossbow that smells funny.
Yeah, it's that definitely has an odor. In fact, it's important as it may be, I find, and I dig into my ammo pouch, and I pull out a small Exandria bullet. I find these to be the most impressive of what I carry. You see, you put enough of these into this, you pull that trigger, well, some believe the rest that happens is the end of battle as we know it, but I'm not bold enough to explain. Oh, the bullet?
Yes, please.
I consider it, but I go, I give him the bullet.
All right. He just kind of tosses it up and down in his hand to kind of get the weight of it, rolls it around in his fingers, and offers it back.
An interesting projectile.
It seems to be a very, very almost immaculately rounded piece of metal, but a little heavy.
Now, the process could be it could be pretty complicated. You know, it's a very deadly piece of equipment, but the real, I would say, well, the true magic actually, and I dig back into my pouch, and I pull out a small little packet of gunpowder, smoke powder, which that's like that one's also a little bit tricky. I don't.
So you'd be pulling out your horn, so you would see him produce what looks to be like a water skin with a very strange nozzle on it.
Oh, that's the smelly stuff.
Yeah, it's quite potent and combusted. It's essentially I've never really.
It blows
potent?
up.
What's that? I say that to Ember.
How potent?
Well,
I have a random perverse interest in combustion.
Reverse interest.
well, let's just say, Ember, you and me can be quite the party put together. In my younger days in the Corps, we well, do I have time for a story? It's small. Essentially, me and my buddies, we tried blowing up one of the sort of storage units, cabinets, lockers. We figured it'd be a fun prank, and it wasn't, and we got properly reprimanded for it. But safe to say, enough of this makes quite a big boom. My horn is what I emphasize on that.
So you're saying it is stinky boom powder?
Stinky boom powder is definitely a way of calling it, yeah.
Okay. I like that description.
You have a tendency for pranks.
Well, let's keep that prank in the past. But if all goes well and I am allowed to join you all on a journey or two, I'm going to be having to acquire some of this, which that may make towns and the like a bit interesting. So I'm told. Like I said, it's my first time, which already had a lot of different eyes on me than I previously had.
Oh, I remember my first time.
I definitely have no idea what he's talking about, but just for like social reasons, I'm like, yeah. And I take a long drink of my because I'm up to word 500 at this point. So.
Oh my word!
It's my first time away from home too.
At least.
No, really, it's my first time away from home.
Where are you from, if I may?
Oh, I'm from a small village in the north of the Cliffkeep Mountains called Terra.
What do I know about Terra?
You make me a history check. See what you know.
19.
19. You know that Whitestone is very familiar with the Ashari people, which are essentially druids who are responsible for protecting the world from elemental dangers. And specifically, Whitestone is very, very well connected with the Ashari people. You're, one of the more famous members of the Chamber of Whitestone, Percival DeRollo, was in a party of great adventurers known as Vox Machina with Keyleth, who happens to be the voice of the Tempest, the mentor of the Ashari people of Zephyra, so the Ashari. You would know that Terra is the Earth Ashari. That's essentially where the Earth Ashari dwell. But more than this, you do not know.
And there's also that big tree in Whitestone that's like, I imagine.
Yeah, you have the Sun Tree in Whitestone, but that's not necessarily associated with the Ashari.
Oh, yeah. And am I correct? You said metal, you can't wear it.
No, it affects some of the subtle parts of our magic.
Oh, magic. You must be I believe feel too
I'm
forward saying it. A druid.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Sorry. Okay. Yes. Well, that's comforting in a way. Not to be too forward, but it feels like a little piece of home away from home. In a way or so. Not to be forward. I'm just you've all been very lovely company. As I said, I never get too many words out. That's normally gun, point gun, fire. As you may. It's good to it's sharing your company. How long have you been away from home?
I'm not very good with time, and sometimes I lose time. I've been with my friends for a little over 6 weeks. And I must have been gone for several weeks. But I got really lost, and I just lost track of a lot of things, and so it's probably been at least 4 or 5 months, I think. Maybe.
Wow. I'm still getting adjusted to being away from home. It's not that I'm not up to the task. I signed up for it. I volunteered for it. It seemed like the opportune thing to do, and there's amongst other reasons. It's however the case. I'm sure it's had its own difficulties, but everyone here, have you all been together as long as they've been away, or it's that
Yeah, we all had different reasons to end up in Stillben, but we've been together since then.
What was your reason, if I may ask my combustion?
Yeah,
I-
what was
I made a promise to someone who helped bail my mom's business out of the hole I kind of put it in, and helped her out with some health issues that she was having. And in return, I promised I would undertake certain efforts to make myself more worthwhile for his service later.
Seems if I may, it seems a noble task of yours.
Well, I'd do anything to help mom, so it was an easy ask. I mean, yeah. And it got me out of the business, which some pieces of it I was okay at and kind of enjoyed, and then the business part of it, which I was not.
I'm not much of a numbers man myself, unless it involves work in the
Well,
field. But I can,
for me, it's not the numbers. I tend to take people at their word, and sometimes that is ill-advised.
suppose there's some sad truth to that.
No.
So, any plans? You all gathering here for dinner. It's how's the rest of your journeys? I feel the need. I always feel that your actions are what describe you the best. So, but if I'm to join you all, I'd like to work my way in. You know,
Sure. As best as I know right now, we're waiting on some commissioned pieces to get finished, which will be a couple of weeks in the making. After that, we'll be pretty close to a festival thing Yvain was talking about here, so we may stay on long enough to be here for that, and
Festival.
then
he exclaims.
There's a harvest festival.
Yes, the Harvest Festival attracts so many different people to the city.
Oh,
I
that's
think
right.
you'll
I
find it very, very beautiful.
and if you were looking for somebody and they were also out traveling, in theory, this would be something that they might gravitate towards. Can you describe the person that you're looking for? And I'll start with a minor illusion of Eastin and go, is he taller, shorter than you?
don't know. Is he DM? What's we haven't really discussed that yet.
Take it away if you want to. I'm happy to as well.
You know what? Go for it. Because I did tell a friend, I was like, one thing I like about this campaign is I want you to hit me with some curveballs and twists, so go for it.
Got it.
Who's my target? Who I swear
Absolutely can do. Absolutely can do. Okay. Okay, so we'll do it this way. So, Eastin, I want you to roll me, okay, well, we're gonna start with you, Ember, because yours is easy. I want you to make me a performance check, and this is to see if you can sort of artistically envision accurately what Eastin is describing. And you know what, just to make it simple, actually, Ember, I'm going to make you do this at advantage, and we're going to say Easton's giving you the help action to shape a face. That's how I think we'll do it. Because I can't think of the skill that would be required describing an individual.
That'll give me a 14.
14. In the end, what has been sort of created, there's some struggle between the two of you where you're like, no, a little bit more like this, and you're like, no, a little less than that. And Easton, you're having trouble sort of trying to describe what you're visualizing, and Ember's having trouble fully realizing that, but it's close. What is created in Ember's sort of picture of his own hand, you see that there is a human man, has that sort of dexterous, sort of, I don't want to say long-limbed, but not like broad and stocky. Definitely a more dexterous individual. A little more lean, I think would be the best way to put that. In his maybe in his like 30s, getting close to his 40s perhaps, so middle-aged. And he has salt and pepper hair. It is brown and gray, salt and pepper. But it is short, very military, very sort of like side part. As for height, he's about a little under 6 foot. And he has a somewhat angular, he has like an angular face, but is rather pale, and just kind of has sort of like darker eyes, darker sort of pale blue eyes.
And if I can add this, I think another reason why I feel like the closer to like looking exact like him, the more shakier and kind of like messed up in a situation like that. Like probably where my description kind of faltered a little bit.
Yeah, okay. You see Eastin almost, as the face becomes more and more real in the palm of Ember's hands, maybe passive insight-wise, you'd notice maybe something is going on with Eastin where that seems to be... It definitely, without an insight check, all I will say is that it definitely seems to be personal and evoke emotion. But yes, you all see this lean, salt and pepper brown, military parted gray hair, no facial hair, dark eyes. This definitely looks like almost like a person who doesn't get a lot of sleep. And yeah, that's the individual. None of you have seen this individual before, to be clear.
Well, now you have extra people who, in theory, might recognize him.
Very
Yeah.
interesting.
Assuming that gets close enough to his actual countenance.
You'd be pretty good at finding people.
Yeah,
Would you tell him, would you say his name, Eastin?
yeah.
We didn't decide a name, but I could give it to you.
That's Wick. Salt and pepper made me think of John Wick. Yeah.
His name would be Terwin Cornwell.
Aaron Colwell.
Cool.
Terwin, Terrowin, Cornwell, one word.
Might have to get that typed.
Yeah, I'll just copy paste it into the chat, the Zoom chat.
I don't know if anyone can draw, but if someone could draw a picture of Ember's illusion, then Eastin, you could just show it to people instead of having to describe.
That would help. Purely going off of.
Can anyone draw? I can try. I'm not very good, but I don't know. Maybe it would help.
How about it?
Jane will run upstairs and get a piece of paper and a pen, and she has no proficiency.
Do you actually have paper and a pen?
Yes, absolutely. That's why she writes letters all the time.
Excellent.
And
Okay, you sit down and kind of like start going to writing. Make me, what's the same thing? Make me persuasion check.
Persuasion.
Or performance. Sorry, fucking.
You say, I mean, I'll take persuasion. I'm
You
not.
go to the paper and you're like, listen, motherfucker, make it appear on you. No, I'm just kidding. Make a performance check.
Okay, because I was.
No, this is a
Oh.
performance.
Yeah.
Yvain,
It's like a
I
stick
love.
figure.
What'd you get?
It's a 5.
It's a 5. Basically, Yvain, she's like, okay, what do you think? And she holds up her book. Here, I'm actually gonna draw what she holds up.
Please make it like a stick figure or
No, it's better.
yes.
It's gonna be better than a stick. Maybe I don't know.
Okay,
we'll
but the
see.
best is she needs to take like a long time on it though, like 30 minutes.
Oh yeah, she's going. You guys are like, I don't know, she's like, you imagine like the pen on fire. You guys are like, fuck, she's up to some shit. And basically
One
what
day
she
we're gonna-
produces is gonna be like something like this.
One day we're gonna use it, and whoever sees it is gonna roll like a 20 and be like, "Oh yeah, he was right around the corner. You can't miss him." And he's like right there.
Basically, this is what she draws.
Yes.
Yeah, that's.
I'm no artist. But maybe someone more skilled could. It's a good idea, in theory. Sorry.
It's a first draft. First draft's always a little rougher. It's,
Mhm.
you work up to it, but I sincerely appreciate the effort. That means a lot. Thank you.
Let me give
You'll
it a
hand it to
try.
him, and,
Let me try.
and I will. And she'll hand you a piece of paper and a pen.
All right, Jewel of Twilight, give it a shot. Give me a performance check.
I hear.
And
the
Ember, you're
world.
just like keeping it going. You're constantly saying the illusion magic. It's like, oh, fuck.
16 plus 3, 19.
19. With a 19, it definitely comes out a bit better. You're not a trained painter or sketch artist by any means, so it's still going to be like a little rough. But But it's definitely better than what Yvain put down. The face is a little bit more of like an angular shape to it. I would say that you get the eyes are tricky. Like one eye's maybe like a little off than the other eye, like looking in two different directions. The nose is a little crooked. You get the hair really good and the shape of the face really good, as well as like the darkness of the eyes. But there's no shading or anything like that. It's good, but you're probably not. It's just a little off. It's a little off. It needs a little.
Jewel's like very proud of herself. She's like, go.
Yeah. This is one of the better drawings you've ever made, though. To be clear.
Yes.
Jewel Twilight. So you're like, yeah, fuck yeah, look at this.
Please.
I appreciate this as well. I think for now we'll start with seeing if I see him and questioning, but it helps to have physical examples. So how about you? I feel as if we've lost you in your meal, and I say that to Finch.
Oh, I am usually just an observer, just listening to what everyone has to say, and not at all avoiding talking about my home.
You must be the front line then. I've found that usually the heavier you lift, the quieter you are at dinner.
Yeah, you could say that. That's what I've been trained to do, and that's what I love to do.
Have you two been with Ember, Yvain, and Zolrod? Was it?
I have.
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh.
Nice little group for
Imagine-
a little while. They sure keep me on my toes, that's for certain, and I'll like fiddle with my amulet.
All right. It's I'm sure you've all seen a lot already in your time. Pardon me by asking. I feel I have my own issues, but what is that on your? Because I believe they had a scar right after, or is that visible or
Yeah, well, that's where you had it, Finch. You wanted to like down, kind of like a little cut. So yeah, it has like a little bit of a war wound down the eyebrow. I would say the armor itself definitely has like the impression. What kind of armor do you wear, Finch?
Chainmail.
Chainmail's a little harder to, maybe here and there, like maybe there's like a link that's a little brittle and whatnot, but you definitely see like on the armor, definitely the signs of many battles.
Yeah.
And then the apparent scar on the face.
Well, I as I heard you're all waiting for shipments, so I hope the trade-off was well worth it.
It was. Yeah, I feel like it was.
I start digging into my food because I'm a little bit hungry.
Yeah. Let's see what you guys got in front of you.
What do we have in
You guys all settle in for a meal. I don't think we paid for that last session. That's going to be. This is a comfortable tavern. That's going to be 5 silver pieces.
Okay.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. I got it.
Basically what is brought before you all are delicious hand pies. They basically look like very large pizza pockets, but they are full with bacon and potato and leek and all kinds of yummy spices, ground beef, a little flour, some chicken broth was used to make them. They're really good and they're piping hot, fresh out of the oven.
Nice. Break off a little corner and give it to Ben.
Thank you for the delicious meal. I really appreciate it.
I'll
And
take
she
some
just
of the leek
scarfs
with
it down.
Pizza.
They look like.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Like an empanada.
Yeah, me type.
It's a pasty.
It's a pasta.
Yeah, it's a little pie. It's a little hand pie.
Oh,
Maybe
Zarbo
some
kind
of
of
the
said-
leek one to Happy, since we've learned that Happy likes pies and such.
Yes, you feed one to Happy. You just feed a little bit.
I'll feed all
Yeah,
you feed a
up
big
there.
bite of it. Yeah.
Yep, and he just keeps eating, and maybe eventually eats into your. Like, there's some strange creatures around the table, but you notice this rabbit on Yvain's head, which maybe you thought was a hat for a little while. There's a full rabbit with a unicorn horn, and this rabbit just scarfs food down. Like, Yvain just gives like a bite for me, a bite for Happy, and eats about a half the pie, which is about the size of the rabbit. So probably a little impressive.
Whoa! I swear you're very stylish. That's forward. I just mean your outfit, your armored outfit, clothes, but the hat. It's
Happy.
very. Is that what? What is that? Sorry.
Do you want to say hi? She kind of cocks her head and looks up at Happy. I don't know if he's going to hop down or not, but...
Yes.
I found new friend Eastin, and this is Jewel of Twilight. We haven't introduced you yet, but yeah, that's Happy.
Happy jumps off of Yvain's head into like the middle of the table. Some things get scattered, and just kind of like looks between the two of you, and is going to hop up to the Jewel of Twilight and sort of like look at you with its like little bunny eyes.
Scritch.
Make an animal handling check. See if the rabbit likes you. It's the most
17.
important skill in the game. 17. The rabbit takes it and immediately starts like thumpering on the table, like and then looks at your hand pie and back at you.
Oh, Jewel's already finished her hand pie.
It
Jewel
looks
scarf that shit down.
and then it jumps over to Eastin after a couple of scritches and happiness, and jumps over to you, Eastin, and looks up at you with its little bunny eyes and sparkles of innocence.
I crack the bottom corner piece and offer it.
And just takes it and like, nah, it's a very cute like rabbit, like a little like.
Better you than me. I like to sleep on a lighter stomach, anyways. And, I like critters and stuff. So.
Happy looks at the rest of your hand pie.
Not entirely empty, but light. What was their name again?
Happy.
Yes, and then indeed does look up at you with like a big, sparkly, anime, cute rabbit eyes.
should be hungry. Here, fine. And I give a little piece. Like I'm definitely a pushover, which I believe.
And then it's eating, and I think Happy detects this and just keeps like persisting. Maybe you're like getting to the point where you're like,
Happy, come back.
trying to get a couple bites in it.
Come on
Make a
now.
persuasion check, you may.
Are you sure
Happy's...
it's not hungry? It's definitely a hungry to me.
Oh no, he's not coming back. That was a 4 on the dice. I mean, I've got some to add to it, but that's a 10.
Yvain does one of these, as animals do, just kind of does like a... and then looks back at Eastin, and Eastin just yeah, maybe like while Happy like has a bite of your food, you like quickly like have a bite or two before it looks back at you for more, and you're like, oh fuck, and you give it.
I take a really big bite, and then I'm like, fine, here, just take it, you know.
Take it, just leave it in. And then Happy like jumps onto your plate and just starts like eating the whole hand pie. At this point, Happy's had like a full hand pie and a quarter, which is definitely more than Happy's full body mass. So you don't know where it's going. It just keeps eating.
Does it? Will it come out? You know,
I don't know. So the eating thing is kind of new. I haven't noticed it before, but he likes sweet rolls, so I thought he might like this. But you know, I don't watch his toilet habits necessarily. I mean, I assume it comes out somewhere.
I was just wondering, you know, I assume it shares your quarters, so it would be a horrible thing to wake up to. But if it
I've
doesn't,
never noticed any bunny poop in the room, so he must let himself out at night.
Somewhere behind the sun-kissed tavern last night, or perhaps tonight, this bum's walking along. He goes, "Look at all these nuggets of gold! What are these? I'm rich!" No, I'm kidding.
You should poop good berries. I like that idea.
Yeah.
And you would eat that, and who's eating them though, man?
oh, no.
Because that's what he does.
It's a good berry, but it's from the ass of Yvain's familiar.
How badly do you need that healing?
How bad do you need that 1 hit point, guys?
Yeah, how bad?
Desperate. Amazing.
You guys eat, you drink, you learn a little bit about one another. Yes, sir, Volk.
All right, so in between bites with a full mouth, without even looking up, Zarvok's just going to be like, "Are we not going to talk about the cat person?"
We do not need to talk about the cat person.
You're far too blended in plain sight for my own liking. I think I would like to talk about the cat person.
How would you like to be called, Jewel?
Jewel.
Because I feel like referring to you as cat person seems a little rude, and I don't want to be
It's not
rude.
rude.
Quite nice.
Little bit, but I'm used to it.
Well,
I think I may be the only Tabaxi in town. I have not seen another.
Being used to it doesn't make it right. I apologize on my part. Like I said, it's all new to me, and I am interested. You've been lovely, and you drew something that's very in its own right. It means a lot to me. Seeing as
Sorry. Jewel just she looks a little bit uncomfortable, but she kind of straightens up in her seat. She takes a little bit of water. Okay, you can ask your questions. I do not know what to say. I just live in the city, and I like to play dice and cards, and that's about what I do with my time.
Is Westrunn your home?
It has been for 5 years.
that's a long time.
Yes, yes. And Jewel is very young. I don't know if you can tell that with a tabaxi or not, but she is very young.
Now when you say play dice, I had a friend in the barracks who they played dice, but it was more playing with the pockets of everyone else, and as you know, it was fun nights, but they definitely cleared house. Or are you more of a hobby?
It goes both ways. Sometimes I lose, sometimes I win.
Well, seeing as we've got a fine table here, lighting and witnesses, let's how about a round?
Are you sure you want to play dice with me?
Sure. What better way of getting to know one another?
Yes. And she reaches into her little pouch and she takes out a couple. Or would it be like one set? Yeah, it'd be a set of dice, yeah?
Yeah, we set of dice.
Yeah, a little
You know, a
set of dice.
D4, a D6, a D8.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. That's a joke.
I
Little D&D
guess a
humor.
bunch of D6s, like,
Nah, it'll be a bunch of D6s, yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Probably
And
about
they're
five,
like,
probably about 6 D6s, yeah.
all right, and they're each a different color and very nice looking dice. These are my babies.
So the rules we used to go by is those who own the dice own the house. So name your wager.
And Jewel, she looks like she's kind of contemplating, but she actually knows exactly what she's doing. And she goes through her purse and she pulls out a silver and puts it on the table.
Eastin will match it.
Okay. Anybody else want to
Nobody. Vane is watching intently, going to learn the game.
Right. Yeah, no, I'm just gonna watch.
Okay.
Don't go easy on me just because I'm just arrived in town.
Well, there's no going easy or not, it's how the dice happen to land.
Yes, but I call me suspicious, but your dice, you find yourself playing games often.
No,
Yes.
she's wonderful. She was helping me earlier. She's not like that at all.
Exactly.
All
All right, so Jewel rolls the dice. I guess I just do like a 66.
I don't think we're gonna go that way. We'll play it in D&D terms here. So we're just gonna use the gambling rules for Xanathars.
Okay. Now I would
So
say
here's-
I think they should have advantage on our rolls with it just because.
So here's what I'm going to say, anybody who's taking part in the gambling, they put down their wager, which I believe is 1 silver, which is just the 2 of you, I assume. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We'll just play against one another. Jewel, you're proficient in dice, right?
Yes. Oh no, not dice. No. Cards.
No, not cards.
I asked you about this before if I would be proficient in dice, and you didn't say yes. So I guess I'm
Oh, okay. You could swap it if you want to.
Okay.
I'd allow that if you want to. Considering. So now you are proficient. It seems. So essentially how this is going to work is each of you is going to make an insight, a deception, and an intimidation check. Because you're proficient, Jewel, you are going to have you are going to be able to re-roll one of those rolls because you are proficient. Oh no, excuse me. You could exchange. Sorry, I'm just rereading the rules here. The character is proficient with an appropriate gaming set. Your tool proficiency, you can replace the. Oh, okay. Because you are proficient with dice, you can choose to replace any of those checks with a proficient dice check, essentially. So let's say you're not proficient in intimidation. You're like, I'd like to be proficient. You can roll it with proficiency because you have dice proficiency.
Okay.
I'm also going to send you one thing over Facebook as well.
Uh-huh.
This is like when the gambling mini game gets introduced.
Yeah.
I like the D&D drinking mini game. That's fun.
Yeah, that is fun.
Nice. Actually, I need to check something. Sorry, guys.
So did you attend these dice games with your buddy, or just watch?
I mostly watched. It's my my friend. He was very partial. He's actually the brother of my target.
Oh, I see. Interesting.
He's my superior. Well, was my superior officer. But yeah, we would they would play some games. Yeah.
So then it would probably be wise to lose to him, being he is your superior officer.
Yeah, he wasn't too fond of I get it from him when I said do your worst. He really liked to face life head on, even if he knew he was being ripped off. And Dakota was part of I guess but anyways, so we just chucked these. There was one rule called corn, but I never got what that was. They would all shout corn, and everyone would just run to a different corner. Sorry, but it's
Sorry, I'm all done my thing here. Okay, so let's get to it. So you guys all watch as they go to play their game. So yeah, go ahead and roll one of the go ahead and roll those checks. Let's start with the insight check. So both of you, insight check, please.
Can I watch closely?
Sure. Make a perception check.
That's a 17 for insight.
18.
Nice.
18, and you rolled what, Eastin?
17.
17, very nice. Okay, let's get that deception check going.
That's a 13.
16.
Nice. And last but not least, that was a... Oh, I'm at the wrong section entirely. I believe that was an investigation. Oh, intimidation.
Yeah, I'm gonna make this one the proficient one.
Understood.
16.
16 plus 4. 30, 20.
30, 20. Very, very good. What did you get, Zarval, on your perception?
19.
19. You guys watch. Jewel rolls her dice. You guys go ahead and play the game. And Zarval, you watch very intensely as she rolls the dice. And essentially how it would be done is like, I don't know the game specifically, but basically you put them in a cup. You roll them in a cup, you put them down, and you kind of peek them, and then it's called liar's dice, basically, where Jewel has a number of dice, and basically they try to lie to each other about how much they have, or tell the truth, and they got to decide if they're bluffing or not. And you watch very closely, Zarvolk, at the whole situation. Things look to be on the level, as far as you can tell. But in the end, yeah, Eastin, you're playing, and you think you've got Jewel going, and then Jewel sort of reveals her numbers, and whether she claimed to be lying or she claimed to be telling the truth, she does indeed win the silver.
Fair dues, right?
Well, I suppose this round was mine. Do you want another?
Oh, no, I can't be the only one here daring, right? You're all
Yes,
adventurous.
other. All of you, come play one round. One round, just one.
I can't be the only. I don't know what's the word. A mark is that?
Sure.
Participant,
on.
participant.
Please, yeah.
I'll-
I'm not persuading or anything.
I am.
I'll give it a go now that I've seen how it plays.
Please, yeah. That's and I'll yes, pull myself back so you can have them.
Okay, so I'll tell you what. We'll call this like the last round, but this will sort of go for gambling for the rest of the night. So anybody who would join in the gambling fun at any point during the night, this is your time. Whether it's a game right now or a game later, go right ahead. And I'll say you can put as much. I'll say like, how many games do we think we play here tonight? Maybe like 3 or 4 games.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Jewel, you're probably playing for all of them. So why don't we say you want to keep it at like a silver?
Yeah.
So we'll say 4 silver is the minimum bet. Anybody who wants in on this can put in 4 silver. Anybody who wants to put on more can sort of like elevate the bet. But we're kind of doing like a Texas Hold'em thing right now for the minimum bet. So everyone put down 4 silver. Does anybody want to like raise the bets?
Who's being nice to them? She's not going to raise the bets.
Okay.
But she will go along with anybody who does raise the bet.
Got it. Okay, it sounds like we're just going to do like a 4 silver for like maybe 4 more games tonight. Anybody who wants in on this can certainly be in on this. And I think I'm gonna do this in the traditional rules, because we'll say all of you are playing against me. I'll be the house. We'll make Jewel the house. It's her dice. So Jewel, here's what I'm gonna have you do. We're gonna have you set the DC.
Okay.
What you're gonna do is you're gonna roll 5 plus 2d10 for 3 times for each of these DCs.
Okay.
What I messaged you still applies.
Okay.
And that'll set the DC for the 3 checks, and then everybody can. But tell me the checks privately. Tell me the DCs privately. And then we'll go in for a roll. Intimidation and deception. Okay, cool. Yes, Yvain.
Yvain does not want to bet, but she does want to do, while she's druid crafting something pretty with flowers, is watch the 4 people playing and compare what their faces do to what the final results are. Make an insight check, just trying to learn
what their faces do compared to the final results.
Basically,
Poker
everyone
face.
can tell, right?
Oh, you're trying to get everybody's tell. Okay, sure.
Learn how to read people. It's insight.
Okay, we'll call this like Yeah. I don't know. I think I'm gonna give you a check for this, but you're starting to look around and get the concept of insight, and sounds good. Sounds good. Okay, so we're in. Got it. So I'm gonna set the DC rules. 16. I need one more in there, Jewel.
Okay.
Yeah, because
thought it
2
was
for
5.
each.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yep, 3 checks, 2 for each, so 6. Got it. Okay, so who's in? Who's playing? Okay, we got Ember. Anybody else?
Eastin.
Come on, you pansies. It's 4 silver. You can do
No,
this.
Yeah, it's
I'll
not
go
that. I
one
think
more round. I'll do one more round.
Too chaotic for Zarvog, I think.
It's I'm
Not
getting
too far
kind
enough.
of right here.
Everybody's so scared of gambling. Oh, I don't want to lose my 4 silver. All right.
I love
Finch-
gambling.
For
Since
Finch, I don't think it
Zarvog-
would be it wouldn't be the silver, it would be the concept of gambling. They're still
Right.
And Yvain is
Because
actively doing
Lady Kima of Vord would never gamble or
She would
drink
never.
or have sex or anything like that.
What if
Um,
Bahamut sees? Okay.
What if Bahamut sees?
They're
No,
watching
this-
right now.
This campaign world's very sex positive. Okay, we don't shame people. Not even the gods. Okay. Got it.
So insight, deception, and
Intimidation.
Yeah. So let's get insight checks from you 3 gentlemen.
Oh, that's a 10.
10 for Eastin,
12.
12 for Ember. Zarvog?
No, I'm
You're not playing?
Zarvog's not playing. No,
Oh.
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
watching.
never mind.
Remember, I'm watching people.
he's afraid he might lose.
Oh, and yeah, wouldn't want to lose. Okay, intimidation checks from you 2.
That's a 15.
Got it.
16.
Understood. And lastly, deceptions, please.
That's a 3.
Oh, 3.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20, very good.
Fleece East the rest of the campaign.
Okay. So let's see here. Okay. So you guys go to gambling. Eastin, I'm afraid to say, you do like these 4 rounds. You have a good time. You have like a lot of fun. But you do lose all your money, unfortunately. So Jewel, that's 4 silver from Eastin. You do win 4 silver off of Eastin. But Ember, you go in and maybe you spend a little more time around taverns or cells. You don't gain any money, but you do only lose half your money. So you still only lose 2 as opposed to the full 4. So Jewel, you can take 2 off of Ember as well. Yeah.
That was a good game. It was good for starting.
Not recently, so
Yeah.
yeah, no.
Eastin,
Great.
you did, or that is Ember. Ember, you did very well. Very well.
Right, so maybe it's truth that's not real.
Thank you.
I feel like I won on a spiritual level. You know, I put myself out there.
Oh, for
I'm
sure,
good.
you did.
Yeah,
You
we
did.
took him.
Ah.
On a social level, Mom would be proud.
I did it, Mom. I interacted. I played.
I made friends.
Much scoffing.
What
Ah.
word count are you on?
In Undercommon, she says, "Don't be a dick."
And I catch that. I don't say anything back, but I definitely catch that undercommon is spoken.
Got it.
All right. So do we find out anything else about Jewel of Twilight besides that she gambles?
Just that she seems to be very good at it. You could probably gather that, like, I don't know, maybe some people here have gambled before, maybe casually, but it seems that she knows what she's doing. Probably very practiced.
This is much what I do. I live a fairly boring life.
In what
So-
sense?
So you run games, and that's your profession. It's very exciting, is it?
It can
What made
be.
what made you decide that you wanted to do that instead of, I don't know, being a cook or a tailor or a magic using person? I don't know.
Well, I could have been a baker, but I don't like the heat of the oven.
Okay, fine.
And customers, they don't like finding fur in their food.
That seems fair. All no offense, but putting myself in their shoes, I understand.
Okay. You guys gamble. You guys learn a little bit about one another. You play a couple hands of, or you play a couple dice games. You have a little conversation, learn a little bit more, quite a bit about Eastin, in fact, a little less about Jewel. One seemingly more discreet than the other, or simply just not as interesting as the other. Who's to say? But maybe more is to be learned, maybe less is to be learned as the time goes on. Adventures so seldom are uninteresting. But for the time being, you guys realize that definitely the energy has calmed down, the evening is taken into the deep night, and maybe it's time to get some sleep before the week comes, as you no doubt have stuff you might want to do around Westrunn.
Absolutely.
All right, with that, everybody can head to bed to get some sleep. Before we do, something needs to be addressed. Nice. I'd like anybody to roll me a d6.
4.
Okay, deal. Zarvolk,
Yes.
you go to bed. Fen tucks in the bed with you, probably, keeping you warm.
Sure.
You drift off to sleep. Your dreams are not peaceful ones.
Oh no.
There is all kinds of terrors come to you in the night. Memories of the past.
That's no
You
good.
hear the horrible sound that you couldn't get out of your head for years. Ding, 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 ding. The sound of metal picking against stone over and over and over like a drum beat in your head. Stone falling. Screams from deep down dark tunnels. But worse still, even deeper, you delve into memory. You find yourself tossing and turning in your bed, waking up here and there, drenched in sweat, finding your way back to bed, and it's like every terrible thing that has ever happened to you just keeps coming. You recall a time that, for the most part, was long forgotten. You remember deep in the woods. Perhaps not a memory, but maybe so. Deep in the jungle, in the dark under the boughs of the trees, you hear the awful sound of danger on the horizon, the yipping and hollering of elves at your back as you run. You turn around, you see 2 hobgoblins, your mother and your father.
Oh.
And you're just a little boy. And you say, Mom, come on, Dad, come on, we gotta get out of here. And they look at you with piercing yellow eyes that seem to glow in the dark of the jungle. They say, you're a failure, son. Why would we go with you? You who has failed our people so horribly. Your father says, you are no son of mine, boy. Go, run. You'll never be true hobgoblin warrior. And he slaps you across the face as you fall to the ground.
Brutal.
You run through the jungle. You run as you hear arrows shooting at your back. You're alone in the city you've never been in before. A dwarf takes you by the upper arm, says, you're mine now, boy, and you're gonna mine till you drop. And he throws you into a hole, and you fall, and you fall, and you fall, as the dwarf looks down with piercing yellow eyes still. You wake up, a cold sweat. These dreams will haunt you here and there throughout the week.
Oh. Peachy. All right. Let's see. I guess I'm up in the middle of the night?
Yep, here and there you'll find yourself up, finding yourself being pulled back into ancient memory.
I'm probably gonna wander around my room a little bit. But I imagine he would get increasingly desperate as he tried to go back to sleep and kept having the dreams. So maybe at some point he wanders down the hall and tries to find Yvain.
As you're wandering down the hall, you're sort of wandering and you see another patron sort of comes out of his room, dark circles under his eyes, and kind of rubs his head and kind of takes note of you and is a little startled by you and kind of, sorry, sir, just want to get some... and he wanders down the hall, down to the tap room, perhaps to get a glass of water.
All
and
right,
you...
so maybe I'll follow him down.
Oh, you follow him down? Okay. He just, he goes and sits at the bar. And he just says, just a glass of water. And he just sips his water.
All right.
It's individual.
I'm gonna have a glass of ale and try and clear these nasty thoughts from my hobby mind.
Fair enough. 4 copper. You have a little bit of ale, and as you drink and you feel a little sort of, just a tiny little buzz come on, you know, your life has not been devoid of nightmares before. These nightmares have come and gone as you have lived throughout your life, and perhaps you have steered away from it because you know it can be, you've heard how people can fall into their drink. You know it is a way of blunting the terrors of the night.
So, yeah, I mean, I guess he would just try and, especially for the first night that this happens, he would just try, over and over to get back to sleep and have some peaceful rest.
And
morning rolls around.
Yeah, it's only when you find yourself in deep sleep these nightmares come to you. So like you'll sleep peacefully for maybe like an hour, not peacefully, but you'll sort of restlessly sleep and then maybe come up after an hour, maybe a couple hours, maybe you make it all the way through the night. But nonetheless, these nightmares, and I will say the alcohol does help a little bit, does help sort of keep you down. Help you sort of dream dark like a stone as opposed to the full vivid images that come to you at night. A life of violence is not one that isn't devoid of its own, pains. Okay. With that, Westrunn, you guys have some time before your stuff is ready. And some of you have to do some stuff with your stomachs because they're about a day away from expiring. These stomachs you took from the Onkegs, they have a 2-day expiration on them. Or you sold them all, didn't you?
Yeah, we already did that. They did that.
Yeah, you already did that. Never mind, my apologies. Just trying to check my boxes. Excellent. But anyway, yes, Westrunn lies before you. You all wake up. The city lies before you all. Let's let's get to it. Let's get to it. I'm gonna just roll d6 here, and we're gonna decide who's going first. To Ember, my friend, do you have anything that you would like to do around Westrunn?
Well, yeah. If we don't have anything particular planned, I want to go purchase a cartographer's kit and kind of get the merchant to kind of give me an overview about how the tool works, or how the kit works.
Absolutely. And I did kind of assume for you guys, because you wanted to wait till the Hazel Festival, but I just wanted to double check with the party. You've completed your job. Do you guys wish to go to like a little 5-day stretch of downtime and then check back in?
Yeah. Actually.
Yeah? Okay, cool. Just wanted to check and make sure. And yeah, anyone can take any opportunity they wish to RP or do something a little bit simpler, but downtime options are available. So, you, Ember, the first thing you do is you're saying, I'm going to get myself a cartographer's tools kit. And that you do. Yeah, you go to the shop and, oh fuck, I gotta get the price for it. But you sit down with the individual and he goes, oh yeah, cartographer's tools. Yeah, here, let me show you. He opens them up and he says, everything you need to make a map, sir. And he opens it up and he's going to show you the quill and the ink and the parchment. There's a pair of compasses. There is capillars and a ruler. And he says, all right, well, I myself ain't a carpenter specifically. Or excuse me, a cartographer specifically, but I know the gist of it. You know, you map out the land and you compare sort of miles to measurements here on the ruler, and you can use the tools inside, the compasses and the capillars, to sort of measure distance and whatnot. So, say you go to a bluff, you check where north is, and you know how to orient it on the map, and you draw it in, and it just sort of takes you through the motions and talks to you about cartographer's tools, and you get the general idea of how it works. It's a little complicated, but you get it, and it's 8 gold to purchase.
Okay.
Fantastic. Is there anything else you'd like to do during this little stretch, Ember?
No, that's really it. That's something that the whole going on with Red and all of that. You need to get proficient at that whole map making thing.
Got it. So you just kind of, oh well, if you want to, you could go seek out a teacher if you want.
Yeah. If that's an option.
Absolutely.
I'm assuming
option.
that one of the universities probably.
Absolutely, this is a place of learning. Yep, no problem at all. Just out of curiosity, which center of learning would you go to learn about maps, do you think? Like to try and find a teacher?
Well, I've been to one. So I would go back there.
All right, you go to West Hall Academy.
But that still seems like the right spot to go.
No problem. As you go there, you would know at least one person in there. You find it very hard to get in. They don't really let you through the doors. Like, oh, remember you. Now back out you go. But you do know an individual there who could probably hook you up. So as you go looking for a trainer, you're going to run into Wax, the little gnome, the gnome student. He goes, oh, it's you. I remember you. How's it going?
I'm doing quite all right.
Yeah.
I was wondering if I wanted to learn something here at the academy. What's the process for that? I wanted to learn a little bit about map making.
Oh, map making? Well, I'm being honest, like, you can go through the whole application process. It's kind of difficult if you don't know somebody, kind of important. And it takes a whole long time, but if you're just looking for someone to teach you, like cartographer's tools?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could teach you.
Oh, that would be awesome.
I mean, I was looking to take a side job anyway to kind of, get a little pocket change. So if you'd be willing to, I'd be happy to teach you. All right,
absolutely.
all right. All right, let's do some motherfucking map making, baby. Let's do it. And he'll meet up with you throughout the week to do a little map training. And he'll do his studies in between. So, what is your intelligence modifier?
Int modifier is a +3.
Ooh, that is good, and that is going to help. So, rather than the 10 work weeks it would take, it is going to take you 7 to learn how to make these things work. So, 7 work weeks. There are 7 plus 4. That's going to be 35 days of work with your trainer here. And your trainer is going to cost you 25 gold pieces a work week. So, that is going to be, times the 7 work weeks. Yeah, that's going to be 175 gold pieces, and Wax will be committed to your education. Or you could just pay for that like a week at a time, whatever you want to do.
I'm thinking we're going to have to play it a week at a time.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So if you mark off 25 gold pieces, Wax is going to, leave West Hall Academy and meet you wherever you'd like to go. And you guys can do a little learning. There's going to be no complications with your training. Requires, no, that's work. And yeah. And that's all there is to it, my friend. You get to know the gnome student of West Hall Academy, Wax. And he's, he's a charismatic little fellow, and he's happy to teach you. He definitely teaches you in a way that is a little less stingy, a little less like, and if you take your ruler and put it on the map, make sure 90 degrees is essential. He's a little more, he's got a lot of personality. And he goes, oh yeah, you just slap that baby down. Okay, get these guys out. You put it right, you got it. And he's just going to kind of like teach you in a real sort of like friendly way. And as you're working on your thing, he'll kind of work on his studies. And it's almost like a training group, but he's very much teaching you. He's a nice, he's a nice guy to know, it seems. So with that, you can mark off 5 days of your 35 days of training towards cartographer's tools. Awesome. Maybe we'll keep that up, but we're going to start with that. Is there anything else you'd like to get up to during the week?
That's it for me.
Okay, do me a favor, Ember. Roll me a d6.
2.
2, huh? Okay. Funny you should roll 2. Ember, you're having trouble sleeping too. Throughout the week, you just can't help but find yourself in these memories. And most prominently, this sound that you've never really been able to escape in your sort of quieter moments. It starts as like almost a high-pitched screech for half a second and turns into this momentous, earth-shaking, draconic roar as fire emblazons and you hear people screech and scream. You hear the roar of the red dragon, and you look up over the broken buildings to see the great beast with its glowing heart and its piercing yellow eyes looking down at you, and it says, "Little spark, I will devour your world. There's nowhere you can run where my fires won't consume." You feel pain in your fingertips as you look down, as your own fire begins to ignite your tips, burning your hand. Not as much as it would, say, your mother or your friends, but it still hurts. Moving down your fingers, you see your flesh peeling away into bones before your very eyes, watching in horror as your own power consumes you. And he goes, "You mourn your father, your dead, puny bug of a father. You look over to the side, you see a
Figure out how
beam,
much they're
a
worth.
man trapped under a beam. He looks at you and goes, Ember, please! Help!
But I
Help
only need
me!
a web
Oh!
of-
As the roof collapses on him and fire singes his body, and he says, No, little spark. You were born of dragon fire. I am in your veins, boy. You look down at your hands as the skin peels back, and you see draconic talons underneath your skin as your flesh peels away. And you look in horror as you realize you are the very thing you hate. You are the dragon. You are the flames that consumed your family and your home. You hear... You run into the house, into the safety of your tavern. You close the door. It's all quiet. It's gone. Your heart is thumping in your chest. You hear something quiet. You listen intensely, and you hear a very pained, very quiet. Is that you, Ember? Ember, please. You run upstairs. She needs you. You open the door, and you look inside, and you see your mother in her bed, covers pulled up to her chin, wrinkled, alone. She looks over at you, and she says, Why have you let it all go to ruin? I left you the tavern, I left you our livelihood, and you... We'll have nothing. Nothing at all. And her eyes close. And you wake up as you feel your chest thumping, sweat pouring down your face, the fire in your skin, and in that moment, just sort of almost like that thing in the back of your skull, that subconscious, you sort of retract from your hand as you see the little flames on the tips of your fingers as you recall what the dragon said, that you are that he is your father. And you just have a moment of self-disgust that goes away after a couple of seconds. And this will haunt you throughout the week, these visions, these images.
Yeah. Well, I will figure out how to sleep less this week. That sounds like a good idea.
You don't sleep too much. You're not eager to sleep when night falls. And as you go to your training with Wax, he'll show up with coffee. He'll be like, Hey, got one for you. And he'll give you a coffee.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, needed it this morning?
Yeah, I haven't been sleeping particularly well.
Yeah, dreams are, well, they're, yeah, not the best sometimes, right?
Worse some days than others, particularly recently.
Tell me about it. Anyway, let's get to maps and shit, am I right? All
yeah,
right, here.
there's something to focus on. That's a good idea.
Yeah, something better to focus on. And you two will go to your map making. Fantastic. That'll go to Finch. Finch, the week is yours. Westrunn is at your fingertips. What would you like to do?
I think Finch would spend that week a little withdrawn. Not like, lashing out at anybody, but just like more like within themselves. I think they would spend time like visiting the church like periodically, like not spending like an inordinate amount of time there, but I think they would go and like spend some time there just like worshiping and trying to feel like connected to Bahamut, and like trying to like center themselves just after like some of the stuff that's happened over the past couple weeks. I do think during that time, I also think that they would, I don't know if it was, I would have to buy it or what have you, but like just parchment and like a quill to write a letter.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, you're an acolyte of the faith in your own way. You are a paladin of Bahamut. They will provide you one piece of paper, and you can borrow their inkwell and quill.
Okay. So I will write a letter and like make sure that it's like sealed, and like I'll put it in my pack, and then I will go and find Yvain.
Okay, absolutely. Yeah, you head off to find Yvain. Really quick before we handle Yvain. Oh, no. Let's do Yvain first. Never mind. I take it back.
Yeah,
Take it away.
so when I find them, I think I am just going to like go somewhere quiet, like ask her to go somewhere quiet. And I am going to like be pretty serious, and I'm just gonna say over the past couple weeks, you know that things have not always gone the way that we've envisioned they would. I feel like particularly for myself, and I can't have something happen to me and not let my family know. So I need you to promise me that if I go down and I can't be brought back up again, I have a letter in my bag, and I need you to promise me that you'll go to Amon and find my father. His name is Gabriel. Is that something that you could do for me?
Yes. It won't come to that, but yes.
I know. I hope it won't. I'm not trying to put it out there for the gods to take as bait, but I can't help but think about our missions that we've been through these past couple weeks, and I can't have something like that happen to me and not let my father know. No. He's easy to find. You just go to the military district, you ask for Gabriel Andegard, and they'll know exactly who you're talking about.
I will.
Okay. And I'll like put my hand on my pouch, like kind of like where the letter is, and just kind of like be sentimental about it. Yeah.
Okay. Absolutely. As far as the work week, not the work week, but the week goes, for what you would like to do is you're spending not an absorbent amount of time, but a lot of time around the temple, the sanctuary of Bahamut, in these beautiful, beautiful alabaster and silver halls. You pray and you seek the voice of Bahamut, and you seek some sort of direction. And on the first day, after maybe an hour or two there, and you're talking to various people, such as people with the faith is very community-based. And as you talk to some of the acolytes, they go, please, Finch, you should speak with the keeper of the temple, Samar. He'd be very interested to speak to a paladin of your skill. We don't have many paladins who come through, except for, of course, Lady Kima, but she is busy in Amon.
Well, she is.
She is a very busy woman. But please, you should speak to the keeper of the temple. He'd be most excited to speak with you.
Okay, and I'll do that.
And you do, and you find this, as I previously described, a rather thin dwarf, a little shorter for a dwarf, might even be mistaken for a halfling by some. Black hair that is about shoulder length, but very neatly sort of combed back, no part. Wears an amulet of the helmet around their neck and has silvery white long garbs trimmed with light blue, platinum blue. And he looks at you and he goes, well, Finch, I'll admit I've heard a little bit about you. You are an apprentice to Kima. She has spoken quite highly of your training in Amon.
Yes, she's quite the character. But yeah, her and her wife have been wonderful to me since I was very small. I served as her squire for quite some time, up until maybe a couple months ago, and now I am kind of out adventuring on my own. But yes, she's been wonderful.
A true paladin now.
Mm-hmm.
And how have you found your time as a proper warrior of Bahamut?
I mean, it's been trying. I'm not going to sit here and tell fairy tales that it's been all, on the road to glory, if you will. But I definitely, I still have, I have faith in him, and I'll have my amulet. And I have definitely felt, the Grey Dragon's presence throughout any times during my journey when I have felt like I can't rely on my own strength. I lean on him.
Well, I guess that's what being a paladin's all about. I find so often when the paladins, even the high paladins, come to our temples, that you great warriors, you're great at facing down danger and raising people up to meet those dangers and inspire with your own sense of justice and oaths of goodness. But you need someone to lean on. Paladins often come seeking comfort and wisdom, and I think that's where we clerics are meant to come in, is to provide that mentorship and guidance. And if I might be so very bold to give a warrior of your growing status a little bit of advice, I find that when I'm a little bit confused about the Platinum Dragon, I find it best to serve those in simpler need. The people, regular people of town, and what they require when they come in and just simply wish to hear a little religious guidance, or simply wish to be amongst our beautiful halls. Those people, helping in simple ways and hearing their troubles and why they would turn to the Platinum Dragon, can remind you why maybe you did.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way?
Yeah, is there a way that I can do that and get involved?
Of course.
Like I said, I trust in him and the faith and the strength that I have been, taught to believe since I was small. But I would be lying to you if I said that I wasn't feeling, like you said, doubts, not in his power, but just maybe in myself is where I'm a little uneasy.
And I think that's something that all people deal with in their lives, and it's a very reasonable thing, Finch. So yes, we have plenty to do around here, and I'm sure there's plenty who would love to hear from a warrior such as yourself firsthand what it means to have honor and justice and to defend the meek. So please, yes, please come help, and you might find something for yourself here that you didn't have before.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, he's going to set you up with a little bit of work here, Samar, keeper of the temple. You yourself don't have the acolyte background, so you are not as you don't know like maybe the hymns as such, and maybe he will put you in on that, but whatever you feel comfortable doing, he'll put you to around temple. But he definitely has you working with people who come and seek guidance, just the farmers who need protection and people, and just trying to and he says you don't need to go and slay their demons for them, but just let them know that they have the power to do so as well. And when they don't, it's okay to lean on us. And he will and he gives you guidance throughout time, and he encourages you to meet with the people. And essentially how we're going to treat this is religious service.
Okay.
So for this week, you are going to perform religious service. The temple will be more than happy to have you here. And as you complete your 5 days here, you are going to make a religion or a persuasion check. It is your choice.
Mm-hmm. I will.
And that will determine the benefit of the service.
I'll do a persuasion check.
All right.
Let's go, baby.
I'm going to say take advantage, because you've become... Samar will sort of keep an eye on you, and he'll provide you with advice and the help action for all intents and purposes.
Okay. That's a 17 on the dice plus 4, so 21.
Fantastic. You... And the DC was... 21!
Mm-hmm.
That's good. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Very good stuff. I'm also going to roll a little complication here, just in case that there is one.
That's fine.
Nope, no complications with your service. Yeah, you help the church. You know, being a person of action. Maybe find yourself wanting to sort of like leap at the dangers, where someone's like, comes in and says, oh, there's been terrible trouble. There's raccoons in the attic, and you're like, oh fuck, let me go solve it. And Samar goes, no, just
listen.
Maybe just listen and teach him perhaps where to find help, or know that he has the power to help. And you learn sort of almost the cleric way of performing religious service in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And through that, you learn of people's struggles and strifes when it comes to the Platinum Dragon, where people are looking for such things as indeed, as he commands, honor. And just goes, oh, like, I'll have 3 pigs, and my cousin has 4, and it ain't fair. And you're like, well, that doesn't mean you should go and do anything. Like, you should have honor and respect that things are coming your way, and you try and provide these services, and in your own time, maybe you learn a thing or two about honor and justice, and maybe once or twice you find yourself talking to some of the guardsmen around town who have their own like little PTSD situations where they can't stop recalling something terrible that maybe all people, something terrible that happened in their past, where you learn very intimate, very private, personal information about individuals. And you tell them about, not letting it get in the way of your own honor, not letting it get in the way of seeking justice. That, like, if something was done terribly to you, seek out that justice, but do so honorably. And defend yourself at the end of the day. And you provide just the basic tenets as you know them. You help out around and provide simple service. And at the end of this week, Finch, you find as the week is going on, more and more around towards the end of the week, people are showing up with like simple matters. But as the week progresses each day, more and more people arrive speaking about past traumas, to the point where the end of the week where like there's a bit of an influx of simple folk and not simple folk, even nobles, coming in and talking about like things that have happened in the past and things they've struggled with, and just talking, being like, and I came from Amon and the fire's there, or other people talking and says, my father was abusive and I just had this terrible dream of his yellow eyes looking down on me, and all of these things sort of culminate in you recognize that you have done good in the name of Bahamut here. You haven't swung your sword once, and yet you have done good. And with that, you will have earned yourself 2 favors from your god. What that means, in broad terms, is a promise of future assistance from the representatives of either your temple, or perhaps it's a divine boon. So, it can be expanded to ask the temple to help in dealings with a specific problem, general politics, social support, or the reduction of the cost of a clerical spell, for example. You could also use one of those favors in the form of divine intervention, such as an omen, a vision, a minor miracle provided at a key moment. So write that down. You have earned 2 favors from Bahamut or his church. And if ever you are struggling with something, or you're having trouble, or you want to learn more about something, or you just need some like upfront and personal help, let me know you'd like to call in a favor, and we can figure out what shape that takes. Maybe you pray to Bahamut in a moment of need for strength. Maybe you call to him for action, and he will give you sort of real palpable presence, if that makes sense. Or the church itself, if you need something a little bit more here on the material plane.
Okay.
So, you have 2 favors. Well done, well done, well done. Now, is there anything else you'd like to do that week?
I think that's about it.
Then I need you to roll me a d4.
Okay. 3.
Okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Jewel of Twilight. Boy, sleeping's tough. Hasn't been so tough for you for the large part of your life, but this week, pretty tough. You recall being in the jungle city. You're just a young child, and all of the various citizens of that city that you know and are from bumping your shoulder as they go by, sort of giving you no respect, almost intentional disrespect. You look up all into their eyes and they look down at you like you're something bad that they don't want there. And perhaps you stop one and say, why is everyone being so mean to me? And one of these broader folks of a similar race turn to you and say, what are you talking about? You're just like your father, and you're going to desecrate this place just as he did. You're not wanted here. Maybe you should just run away. He looks down at you with his leering yellow eyes and turns on his heel and walks away. And you feel this disrespect and this loathing walking through the jungle. bag of money at your hip. The city that you've been trying to get to, it's right there. But you're young. Not too young, young enough to get here, or old enough to get here, but not old enough to defend yourself very well. Bandits come out of the bushes. You feel a decisive strike to the back of your head as you fall to the ground. And about 5 men look down at you with leering eyes, with clubs and quarterstaves, and just beat you and break your bones. It hurts and it's painful, and you scream out for help, but nobody comes. And they take your things from you and leave you there bleeding and alone. And traders just roll on by. You're in the city. You're walking down streets. You see men on corners, the enemies of your associates, leering at you from every corner, looking at you with yellow eyes in the dark. Some of them give you that mark that lets you know you're marked for death. Maybe you'll make a wrong turn, maybe you'll say the wrong thing, and maybe you'll give them just enough reason to come out of the dark and beat you like you were before. There's danger around every corner. Everyone's watching you. You don't know where the next strike is coming. You look up the front of the street. You see a couple of those men, the men from the very road that jumped you. They turn around and see you and they go, "Come on, let's get out of here." And they run down the street. There's a body on the ground. You approach the body. It's your father. Broken body. Splintered bones coming out of the skin, just been savagely beaten. He's not coming back. You call out for a cleric, but your father looks up at you and goes, "Jewel, why couldn't you just help me? You came all this way and it was all for nothing. I thought you loved me, and now I'm dead because of you. He dies slowly, painfully, choking on his own blood. And you wake up in a start, not sweating, that's not quite how cats work, but nonetheless, the heart beats wide-eyed, seeing into the night with your dark vision piercing through it, and your hair up on ends. And these dreams just keep coming to you of this loathing. And as you walk down the streets this week, you can't help but, as people look at you, maybe kindly or just neutrally, you can't help but feel like, are they looking at me because there's something wrong with me? And these dreams just start to eat at the back of your head. That maybe you're not needed. Maybe you're not wanted. These dreams keep coming to you. Zervolk, it's your turn. What would you like to do in Westrunn?
Yeah, I was gonna go check on farmers, but now I'm tired and surly. So instead, I'm gonna try and find Jewel of Twilight and ask her, "You're familiar with the city, yeah?"
Sorry, what was that?
You're familiar with the city, yes?
Yes, very familiar.
Where do the shadier folks hang out? Where can I buy something I wouldn't normally be able to get?
What is it you need?
Something a little darker.
If you tell me, I can get it for you.
I'm interested in looking into the poison craft.
Come with me.
Yeah.
This
And
is,
just like that.
I'm getting deja vu.
Yeah, I know. This is weird. Being on the other end of this, that's what that feels like. Okay, yeah, you go wandering off. Are you going to go look for individuals of your association? Shall we just say it like that?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Give me just a half moment here. Just going to go check on something real quick. Real quick. Let's see here. Do 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 do. Oh shit. Okay. Okay. Ba, 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 ba. Uh, that should do. Okay. Damn, my body heat just went up like a lot for some reason. Okay. Oh shit. Okay, never mind. Okay, yeah, you go wandering to the usual spots. I would say this district is pretty good for what you're looking for. Most of the buildings here in Westrunn are 2 stories, and a lot of things happen in those second stories, as another party member has recently figured out. You go looking around into the back streets and alleys and such, and you find an individual wearing, just in the back streets, has some leather armor on and whatnot, and is kind of just standing there, and you notice a jewel around his left wrist.
Oh, yeah. Do I recognize the jewel?
You don't. Nope.
Nope.
Nope. But the Jewel of Twilight knows what that's for.
Oh. Guy?
Keeping out of
This
trouble.
Looks over at you and says, it's important to be seen, but it's also important not to be seen, right?
Mm-hmm. So I'm going through here. I'm trying to do it.
I know, it's all good.
Oh, how long has it been? A couple of weeks?
Shit. How long has it been? A couple of weeks. He goes, oh, sure, a couple of weeks, just hanging about. What can I do for you? What can I do for you?
There we go. I don't know how to say it.
I know, it's all good.
I was saying my associate here is interested in a poison kit.
Okay. You say that in however that may be said in Thieves' Cant. It's not really covered. Got it. Let me see if I've got anything here. He says, oh, sure, it's, just if you want that, it's about, 50 steps over there, which basically means, yeah, I've got one, and
okay.
That's the price.
Okay. And, Jewel nods and, just looks over to Zarvolk and just speaks into his ear. 50 gold pieces.
Let's see. I don't have it on me right now, but I do appreciate knowing where to come back to. Am I going to be able to...
Oh, that's all right, my friend. You can take out a loan if you want.
Well, I don't necessarily need it urgently. I'm about to come into some work, I believe.
All right. Well, if you...
Jewel will produce the 50 gold and stare at Zarvolk while she hands it over.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, there we go. Just not me who's making the loan. All right, just wait here a minute. Step into the alley, but just wait here. He'll walk up the street and sort of disappear for 10 minutes. You guys just kind of hang out, stand around for about 10 minutes. And he comes back walking down the street with a small sack over his shoulder. And he just kind of drops it at the corner of the alley and just keeps walking. without another word.
All right.
And Jewel will nonchalantly walk by and just kind of pick it up as she walks and swings it in stride with her leg and brings it up into her arm.
Okay.
And just keeps walking, leaving Zarvolg there.
Oh, guess I better keep up.
Okay. Yeah, you follow along. And if you go into the bag, it's simply it's a poisoner's kit. There's a little poisoner's kit in the bag, and it's in a proper sort of like leather pouching that you could strap to your belt and whatnot, so like nobody's gonna know what it is on the surface. But yeah, you have procured a poisoner's kit.
All right. Now
And Jewel will turn to Zarvolg and say, "You're paying me back with interest if you do not get it back to me by the end of the week."
fair enough. Now how do I go about learning how to use this?
Well, you need to pay someone to teach you.
I suppose you know someone for that as well.
I may.
Fair enough. It sounds like we'll be in the city for a while. I will follow up on that.
You let me know, and I will speak to my associates.
Great.
And Jewel will hand him the poisoner's kit. Is that all?
Right.
Tuck.
And she'll just kind of vanish into an alleyway. Like you look and then she's gone.
Oh man, I'm the one that usually does that.
Yeah. Make a stealth check, Jewel. Batman's about to get Batmaned.
No one out Batman's Batman.
No one out Batman's Batman.
That is a 10 plus my modifier, which is 5, 15.
15. What's your passive perception, Zarvolg?
15, I believe. Yep, 15.
He would be setting the DC. So yeah, so Zarvolg, you walking down the street, and you're like, oh yeah, like I'll get it back to you. And you turn your shoulder, and she's completely gone, and you're like, fuck. Got me. I will say that, like, as you're traveling with Zarvolg with Jewel, Fen, like, pads with you and, like, watches Jewel with his head a bit low as he goes.
As
one
really
of the few, one of the few individuals he's not friendly with. Perhaps he has a little PTSD from when a fucking lion jumped on top of him and almost killed him. So maybe he, unlike most dogs, has a reason not to like cats. Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to do during the week, Zarvolg? You can pick up some like work here and there if you were wanting to.
Yeah. Shoot, I lost my phone. I wanted to ride out. Actually, I was going to take Eastin with me. I wanted to ride out and check on the farmers to see if we could discern what they were in an uproar about when last we saw them and if they're okay now.
Yeah, absolutely. You can grab if Easton's willing to go. You can grab Easton. You guys can vote.
Hey, Rifleman, you want for a ride?
Sure. It's pertaining to.
Just gonna ride around the outskirts of town, get a little fresh air, check on the farm coat.
Right, fresh air at the farm co. Sure. Well, how many days since dinner did you ask me? Just out of curiosity. Was it like the day, like right after, a couple days into the week?
Well, probably 2 days after dinner. I'm assuming. I mean, normally I think our understanding is that we meet in the evenings every day. Is that right, guys?
Well, you all sleep at the same tavern, so probably.
So you probably would have seen me each day since.
Okay. I'll after a little hesitation, I'll follow and ride up with you.
Got it. I do want to do like a quick little piece of housekeeping that I had forgotten about. You guys live in places, so you should probably pay for living in places. So I'm just gonna do that cost really quick here. It's 8 silver to stay at the inn. You're doing this 5-day stay, and I missed a day. So I'm gonna need everybody to pay out 51 gold pieces to live in the tavern or inn. Jewel. Yeah, you're gonna be fine, Jewel. You've got a home here.
Is that 51 apiece?
That's 51 apiece to stay in the inn. Yeah, because you guys have been here for. You got to pay for your horse's stabling, and you got to pay for the actual inn stay. If you can't afford it, you can always go camp out in the woods if you've got proficient with survival, or you could live in the back streets, and there's risks with that, but you can.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to live in the woods.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm feeling broke. I got like 18 gold.
If you guys work, you can pay for it.
Yeah. We're gonna work soon. I'm looking.
Okay, no worries.
Good job, Mom.
But you guys can do like downtime work if you wish, right?
Yeah, work-wise, I was just my plan was to like my week was basically going towards where the riflemen are and just being like, hey, how's like where can I get gunpowder from here? And then I was just gonna like do work for some gunpowder.
yeah, we'll get back to you. And if anyone's having trouble sorting out that cost, we can talk about what your new circumstances are. But yes. So Zarbolg, you ride out to talk to the farmers. The attacks have stopped. They're all very thankful to you. They herald you as a hero, Zarbolg, and they're interested to meet Eastin as well and what his deal is. But they definitely herald you as a hero as you come through Zarbolg. They tell you that they like, oh, the commotion, yeah, another plains cow got eaten. Like we thought you'd solved it because of the hubbub. And they didn't come back the next day, so we thought everything was fine, but apparently not. So we were a little upset, but we heard you came back with like 10 more carcasses. That's really impressive. And they'll just tell you that like, yeah, they were upset because another plains cow got taken and the problem wasn't truly solved, but you guys came back with like 10 corpses the next day and there hasn't been a problem since.
Right. All right. Hear that, nightmares? People do like me.
Oh.
What was that, Sept?
Now, what if I may, what are these carcasses of?
Oh, they were the big bugs that we told you about. They're the ones that we used to make the armor.
Ah, yeah. So here I'm walking through history now for you and your party.
Yeah, this is more of a follow-up visit.
What can I roll to just see like how hyped the farmers were at Zalbog? Like how much of a hero's greeting are they giving them?
It wouldn't be no real check required. It's just plain to see that Zalbog carries respect here. And I would say it's something that you're not. It's something that you have seen when Percival de Rolo goes for a walk.
Okay.
But different. It's definitely different. Like the difference is that Percival's like he has been a legend. He's like a legendary figure, and everyone's like, oh, it's like Percival de Rolo, and you know, it's like a celebrity walking down the street. The difference is that like Zarvolg has recently done good for this community, like very recently. So it's much. Right. It's less like oh shit, I lost my words. It's less like admiration from afar and more like active enthusiasm for heroism, if that makes sense.
And how does Zarvolg take this? Does he welcome this? Is he?
So that's what I was gonna say. So Zarvolg is very showy. He absolutely exists on praise and reverence. To the point that he rides around expecting it, right? He holds himself upright very well. He's very even though he's extremely dirty, right? He's very like his mounts and dismounts are fancy. He tries to look impressive to other people all the time. He does actually have a nice looking horse, which I think if you have a horse thing, you would probably recognize that he did purposely buy a very nice looking horse. But yeah, he rides around like he believes he's a hero. So if he thinks he can squeeze an ounce out of praise out of any situation, he's going to soak in as much as he can.
Yeah. You're a little behind the curtain, yeah. So you see that, whereas other people just see sort of like this mysterious, almost like Ronin samurai. I guess what people are it's probably what they get from Zarvol, because he's just like this like cloaked and like heavily armed, like sort of mysterious rider on the back of a fine horse. So people are like, oh, like, you know, definitely has the presence of like sort of a shady, mysterious hero. But you is a little behind the curtain and sees it as like, okay, this is like the moment we've left the gates, he's putting on a show, so you know what's up.
That's great, because definitely helps me, because any praise that I can dump onto others, I'll gladly do it.
Give me a performance check, Zarvolk, to see just how like to see how the flourish is going, you know?
Oh no, only a 5.
A 5? Yeah. Like the farmers are eating it up. They're totally, because they're just fucking farmers. They're eating it up. But like Eastin, you're maybe almost like a little embarrassed, because like Zarvolk's like fully just like and then at one point he's like fully does this like to a group of people, and it's just like way overplaying it, and you're almost like, oh my god. But the farmers are eating it up.
Now you're truly a member of the group. That's how they all feel about it as well.
I would let him like yuck it up, give him the stage. And I wouldn't bring it up until probably when we're like leaving from the farmers. Tron, you wear it well, much better than I can say for myself.
He'll totally eat that up too. He'll be like, oh yeah, thank you.
Humble too, huh?
I try to be.
Yeah. You're only enhanced by your humility.
Well, thank you.
How many was it again? It was 10 of them, huh? Very big.
At least, probably 14. I don't remember.
Yeah, of course. It's dark caverns. You lose them in the sights. Sure. Well, let's just round it up to 20. You know.
They were piled quite high. It was hard to tell them apart after a while.
And honestly, I'm loving it actually, because it reminds me of my my superior. It reminds me of my buddy. Flexing.
Hell yeah. Okay, fantastic. All right, let's yeah, so what else are you up to, Zarvol?
That was I mean, pretty much it for the major things. He's also, you know, and we can spread this out over the time that they're in town, so however long these things take, but he was going to try to seek out a group of people that he might get some type of martial training for, or advanced you know, combat training.
You want combat training, or you're giving it to people?
No, he wants it.
Oh, okay. All right. So in what form do you think?
Again, so.
Sorry, what was that? Sorry?
I said, but of course, again, he doesn't have any money, so.
Right. So you go looking around, and you're like strutting around. You're like, oh yeah, like teach me. Like you go to like maybe you go to like the Temple of Arathis, and you find like a great paladin, fucking cloak in the wind, like holding a banner up, and you're like, oh, I want to learn what that guy's got. I want it. And you go up to him and you're like, oh, like show me a couple tricks. And he goes, very well, for the low cost of 25 gold a week, it could be as heroic as I. And you're like, oh shit, I don't have money. And he's like, well then fuck off. And you realize that in order to live in a city, you need money.
Or Zarvol could be Finch's squire.
You could squire for Finch for a week if Finch is willing to pay. I mean, fuck.
You just pay me.
Zarvol would be so embarrassed he would literally shrink 1.5 feet.
I became a gnome. Oh man.
So he'll figure out that he has to work, and then when he has time, he'll try and figure out how he can make a little money. How
this will essentially, yeah.
I said he'd probably ask Ulf in the inn if he knows about anything.
Yeah, Ulf is like, oh yeah, I can help you out with some work. What kind of work? And he'll talk to you. Maybe you want to do some hunting or just like general labor or whatnot. He goes, there's no like sort of adventuring stuff around. I'll keep my ears to the ground, but for your personal, you know, paying to stay here and whatnot, yeah, let me see what I can scrounge up. So I'll tell you what, my friend. you can pick for me any skill or tool that you may possess, and we'll roll a check on that. So tell me, what skill or tool would you like to use?
Let's go with survival.
Survival. So let's say you do some hunting.
Yep.
You just do some hunting. Maybe the Ranchers Guild is like, yeah, we're a little low on plains cows, and so we need to do a little more breeding with them. But in the meantime, if we could sort of take the weight off of, the Ranchers Guild would be willing to pay you if you're able to bring some sort of wild meat in from the Bramblewood. So, so you go working for the Ranchers Guild to do a little hunting for some, to help provide some meat for Westrunn. And you can go ahead and make me a survival check, and that'll determine your wages.
11.
11. Okay, your work. What'd you get?
It's a good thing we're not in combat today. I can't roll.
Good thing we're not in combat. I'll tell you what. Make it an advantage because Fen will help you out.
Oh yeah.
Fen's. You got a fucking war dog.
All right, that's a little better. 19.
There we go. So this week you work as a normal hunter would, and we're gonna waive your fees for the week for staying at the Sun-Kissed Inn and stabling your horse, and you will make as much as it costs to live there, and you make up your living expenses.
That's fantastic. All right, and then I think I'm probably set for the week for now.
However, there is a complication. I did roll a complication for you.
Oh no.
I'm gonna reroll. That sucks. That's too mean. Around the end of the week. Okay, this is actually kind of interesting. Around the end of the week, the Ranchers Guild's paying your wages, and they're looking like pretty annoyed, and they're like, so we're like, maybe they go like, maybe we might need to help for. Oh, we got robbed. Could you believe it? We got we think it was the Myriad. I think the Myriad came by and we robbed the Ranchers Guild. Will you believe it? We want to go talk to the class maybe about it, but we don't want to deal with their crimes. And he just starts talking to you about it. Whatever this guy's name is, who is the same name as your childhood friend. He'll talk. Sook, I believe it was. Is it
Jeremiah Sook?
Jeremiah Sook, that's right. So Jeremiah Sook, your real life childhood friend, goes like, oh yeah, Zervog, like, you wouldn't believe, like, it's such a pain in the ass. They're targeting our business. Can you believe it? And we got robbed, and he'll just talk to you about it. And if you decide to, and he goes like, what do you think? Do you like, we can't pay much. This might be just like sort of like a you thing, because we just got fucking robbed. But I don't know, maybe you make a little bonus and you can look into it and see if you can figure out who robbed us and get our money back.
Absolutely.
I don't know if you want to tangle with the Myriad, but yeah,
well, at least look into it. Yeah.
Oh well, I appreciate it, there, Zorvog. And with that, the Ranchers Guild has hired you for an unknown amount of pay to retrieve their lost funds from the Myriad. So,
all right,
that's your new job, new quest, side quest for Zarvog. But we'll see what happens there in a little bit of time. Zarvog, Rancher Guild robbery. Myriad. Okay. Last but not least, Zarvog, I need you to roll me a d4.
Yeah.
See who our next lucky companion is.
Two.
Perfect. Finch. It's your time, my friend. It's your time.
No.
It's a good thing that you're going to church every day. You're going to temple every day, because there you feel lightness and warmth of Bahamut there in these hallowed sacred grounds where nothing can touch you, no evil can come to you here in the safety of your God's house. But when you go to bed at night in the Sun-Kissed Tavern, all your doubts manifest in nightmares. You are in Amon. And it's that fateful day of challenging. But it's the future. And it's you standing there for your family. Hammer in hand, armor blazing in platinum, mighty shield at your side. All cheer your name in celebration. You're representing the Platinum Dragon in the day of challenging in Amon. Like you've always dreamed since you were very young. Stepping down in front of you is the mightiest warrior you have ever seen in your entire life. You see a 20-foot tall giant who wields a bolt of lightning, the chosen of the Storm Lord himself. And he speaks down to you in a voice that throoms with the thunder of the sky of the war god. And he looks down at you and says, "This is all? This is my competition? It will be on your name, Finch, that your family will lose and be disgraced, for the Storm Lord will be the true champion of the gods." The battle ensues. You fight with all of your might, but your armor breaks, your shield splinters. Your hammer falls from your hand. You are thrown into walls. Your body cracks and breaks. You fall to the ground, defeated, bloody, humiliated. Amon laughs. The giant walks over to you and looks down and says, "Weak. This is the greatest paladin the Platinum Dragon has to present? I am bored. I am bored of your challenge, Finch." A bolt of lightning strikes, and you feel the Storm Lord break your body. Weak, as the Storm Lord looks down at you with yellow, piercing eyes. You're running through the back alleys of Amon, much younger. Like a maze, you wander through darkness, eyes in the dark, and you see your brother being beaten, terribly beaten. Clubs beaten down. And you call upon your form. Wings emanate outward from you. They all turn and look at you, not in respect, like sort of holy respect or fear of divine wrath. No, but terror of you, of your wrath, for you are a dangerous and dark thing. And you look to your wings, and they are not glowing holy wings. They are blackened, encrusted and bony, fallen and dark, as black ichor falls from your eyes. And they go, "What are you? You are no chosen of any god. You are a monster." And they all run down the alley as fast as they can away from you. "Get out of here quick before it kills us!" Your brother looks up at you and goes, "What are you? Stay away! Stay away!" And he swings his sword at you and runs from your sight. Landing on the top of the buildings, you look up to see the Platinum Dragon himself. Scales of platinum and teeth long like great swords, curved and dangerous. Claws longer and sharper than any glaive you have ever seen. And glorious in sight, and he glows with light, filling the night with light. He looks down at you and he goes, "Finch, paladin, oath broken, look at yourself. You are too weak to be in my service, for how can you defend the meek when all you do is fall?" He looks down at you with judging yellow eyes and says, "Your skin is not brawn, your arms are not strong, and your heart is weak. You do not believe as you should. Fallen shall they know you always, Finch the Fallen, lost and weak, no paladin of mine. Begone from my sight! He roars a draconic roar, angered by the very sight of you, and you wake up. Cold sweat, fear stricken into your heart, and shame. A shame for visions that have come to you, for what you will become, for what you maybe are. Weak, fallen. Is this your future? Is this your present? Eastin. Westrunn is yours, my friend. What do you do?
So first thing is I'm gonna go to like where the riflemen are, where the bags are. Just
So I will tell you, there are no riflemen. There are alchemists and such who may have the powder that you seek and may be able to provide it to you, but the only place you're ever going to find any significant number of riflemen is Whitestone.
Well, I always figure, let me toss a coin. Maybe I'll get super lucky.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the alchemist. I'm not kidding my luck. I know I'm not buying anything, but I'm definitely seeing maybe any of them need help. Might barter some goods and trying to get a connection out. Because I imagine there's not many people actively looking for gunpowder traveling through here.
It is its uses. It has its uses. Just give me half a moment here. Why don't you roll me an investigation check while I'm doing something here?
Did that roll go through or?
What'd you get?
I'm trying to roll it on D&D Beyond, but it's not. Like I'm hearing the sound, but it's not.
That would be roll 20. It would be showing up on roll 20.
Okay, cool. Let me go on roll 20. Yeah, it's not. It's nothing's letting me roll right now. Can I just roll a?
Yeah. Just roll standard dice if you got them.
Yeah.
Shit.
It's gonna be 15 total.
15 total. Yeah, you go looking around and you happen upon a shop where you find, just like a shopkeeper. We're gonna figure out who this individual is. Give me just a half a second. I just want to see what they're doing. Okay. Give it a random too, I guess. Or okay, you walk into a shop and you see this fairly old, sort of graying hair, but orange hair, or a short curled red hair with blue eyes. This old dwarven woman. She's rough looking, a little pale, sort of got a little bit of a farmer's tan going on. She's only about a little under 4 feet tall. Square face. She goes, "Welcome into my shop. What can I do for you?"
Hello. I was wondering what your current rates for gunpowder were.
Oh, you want smoke powder, do you?
Yeah, smoke powder.
Oh, I occasionally get a fellow like you coming through my shop looking for something that goes boom. Oh, well, let's see what we got around here. And she'll start, like, throwing things over her arm out of, like, the back room, and she's looking around.
Wait, did you say you've had others like me come through here?
Oh, I think this is the most essential stop on the road coming out of the north. You know what? I'll tell you a secret. Percival de Rollo himself came through my shop way back in the day, back when things were all terrible and full of dragons. He himself came through here, I swear on me mummy's heart.
I believe it. How about recently? Have you had anyone say come through here for the same goods?
Oh, sure, I had a fellow come through. It was a day before yesterday, I think.
Day before yesterday.
Aye, that's right. Oh, people want all of my goods.
Of course, it's a lovely shop, a lovely selection. Can you tell me anything about this customer of yours?
Make a persuasion check, see if she's willing to talk about other customers.
Ugh, that's an 8.
That's an 8. She goes, no, it's not good business to talk about past customers, I'm afraid to say.
Of course, what would be good business? You'd say,
Buying something, my dear, buying something.
Yes, commerce, of course. What were the rates again?
Sure. And she is going to produce some gunpowder. She goes, I've got cakes and I've got horns. It's your choice, love.
I've
got one keg and I've got 3 powder horns.
Oh, how much for a horn?
A horn is 35 gold each. Weighs about 2 pounds.
Okay, let's put me down as a maybe right now, and by any chance, okay. I know I've asked perhaps too much of you. Have fellas like me any where could we find some work around here?
Some work? You do some work around the shop.
I consider.
If you know how to handle dangerous materials, I could always use a tinkerer's help.
Well, yeah, there we go. That's perfect for me. I'll start today.
She like throws you an apron over the like a alchemist's apron over the thing. And she goes, "Get back here, Sonny," and she'll put you to fucking work. All right, man. If you want to make me a tinker's tools check with intelligence, and she'll put you to work, sort of like making gunpowder and smoke powder. Very, very dangerous work. Go ahead and make me a tinker's tools check and see how your working goes.
Tinker's tool, and that's a intelligence check?
Yeah, intelligence plus proficiency is, I believe, you're proficient with tinker's tools.
Okay. Oh man, that is a 7 plus 4, 11.
You don't blow your hand off. That was what was about to happen. I was gonna have you roll a lingering injury if you rolled too low, because it's fucking gunpowder, and if you fuck with gunpowder, you get bad things happen. So I will say, it is unfortunate you don't make enough to stay at the Sun-Kissed Tavern where this new adventuring group is, which is a bummer, but you do make enough to stable your horse and have a modest place to stay here with this individual who introduces herself as Alan Hardcloak. Her name's Alyn Hardcloak. And she gives you room and board. And pays for your horse's stabling as compensation.
And I would try and fish throughout, just like downtime at the shop, be like trying to see if she would give any more off on that guy she saw before.
I'll let you make another check. Go for it.
Right.
Throughout the week.
It's a 7.
She's like, "You're a naughty one." I like the naughty ones. You're like, "Oh no." And maybe that shuts you up the rest of the week.
Yeah.
You're like, Because she's a little, hey man, old experience. Yeah. So you, unfortunately, she doesn't seem willing to give up past customers' information.
Alright.
Has a business ethic, if you can believe it.
But if I probably won't do more other than this, but how is my horn looking? Like did I use any of it while I was out there? Because I think I started at the.
I'd say you got a fresh one, because it's got charges on it, I believe, right?
Perfect. No, I think just the bullets do. The like I could throw the gun horn as a weapon and blow it up, but let's hope we don't have to get there that soon. That's
Got it. I believe. So I think I created a custom item in there. I think it's called gunpowder horn brackets charges.
Okay.
So I would suggest adding that, because I'm pretty sure it does have like charges on there, which will basically help you track how much gunpowder you're using.
Okay.
Oh, it's like, yeah, it's got like 200 charges on it. So every time you take a shot, mark off a charge
Okay, where can I see that?
in your inventory. Or you can just take note that, you don't need to get the custom item out. Just take note, and you can keep track of it in your sheet, if you care to. That it has 200 that basically you have 200 shots for every horn. So you can just keep a running tally of how many bullets you shoot.
All
right. So you should probably have a fresh one. We'll just say you have a fresh one. It's fine.
250 charges. Okay.
It's just 200.
200.
Yeah. 200 charges every time you take a shot. Mark off the charge. Cool. And that's the simple way of tracking it.
All right.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to do around Westrunn, Eastin?
I would say, even if I'm not staying there, could I maybe like sneak in another dinner or so, or how's that?
Yeah, you're free to walk. Like, you work during the day, but you're free to do whatever you want afterwards. So I imagine that, like, yeah, absolutely, you can go to the tavern and show up and grab a drink and maybe share a dinner with the party members, continue to sort of keep a relationship going.
Absolutely, and I just catch everyone up about my semi-indentured servitude, and I definitely bring up the naughty boys conversation, and I took it mostly with stride, but yeah, that would be all. Because I imagine my gun had just got issued, so it's in good shape.
Sure it is.
I don't even know if I fired it, to be honest. I do spend a lot of I'm trying to walk as much of Westrunn as I can. Just trying to get that like lay of the city out for have it not feel too foreign anymore.
Yeah, and I'll let you know about some of the sights and sounds in Westrunn, just so you have like a reference. There's the Opal Ward, which is the very fancy part of the city, where there's a big statue known as the Black King, dedicated to Palast White Westrunn on horseback, and he's the founder of the city. There's the Lord Mayor's residence, which is more of like a keep than anything at the center of town. Those are all things in the Opal Ward. The tavern that your party members are at are in the residential ward, where buildings are kind of stuffed together, two-storied. There is the Scholars Ward, where you see many centers of learning. West Hall Academy, one of the bigger, beautiful, higher centers of learning. There is Greystone Tower. Oh, no, that's outside the city. We don't worry about that. There's the Cobalt Reserve, which is a massive public library that looks more like a temple than a true library. You would also see that there is this massive observatory with like a golden, just like this brass, big, beautiful telescope that shines up or points up at the stars. A massive observatory known as Umanor Observatory. There's also the College of the Savvy, a very, very well-established college for musicians and artists and bards to learn the craft and the trade. And then you go to the temple ward, where you might find Finch here and there, maybe bump into Finch here and there and give a little wave, and see them coming out in and out of Bahamut's Rest, a massive temple of alabaster and silver dedicated to the Platinum Dragon. But even larger than that is the First Bastion, a humongous, big, gilded, beautiful temple dedicated to Arathis, the god of law. There's also the Wild Arbor, which is a temple dedicated to nature, and even a temple to the Raven Queen. And then there's the market district, where you would see like the wide open markets. Yeah.
So out of all those locations, there's two specific that I would stop just for a little bit. I'm a big reader, so I would have gone to the library. And definitely, since I've been working with them this week, and especially getting my hands tested with them, I'd read up on anything about tinkering that I was able to or could afford to.
Sure. Well, you would go in, and to your surprise, like, it continues to look like a temple, more like it's got more books than you've ever seen in one place in your entire life, despite being from a fairly populated place. Just filled with books, stained glass windows, and there seems to be around the iconography of this like stony mask with 3 eyes everywhere you go. And the place is filled with monks wearing cobalt blue robes, who help you and tend to you to help you find your books. And it's a public library, so there's no, as long as you don't take books out and you respect the books there, you're free to look through. And yeah, you find some tinkering stuff. Nothing as advanced as what you have in Whitestone, but yes.
I just refreshing my notes in there. I definitely would. I also this is probably riskier, but is there because I had just recently done something specifically that caused my face. Is there anything I could read that would deal with blood magic?
No. You go looking around in what spare time you have, like looking up hemocraft and blood magic in the public library, and there is no tomes of lore about blood magic on public shelvings. No, unfortunately not. Would you ask anybody out of curiosity?
No.
No, you just kind of independently go looking?
I would stop one of the monks one day and be like, excuse me, friend, could I borrow a moment of your time?
Of course.
I'm just a simple rifleman, just a curious one. And in my travels, I heard whisper of heliocraft. What would a man such if they're a man? What would a man such as yourself say on such a thing?
I haven't heard of the practice myself, but give me a moment and I shall look through my records and see if we have anything in the public bookings.
Of course, like I said, it's just curiosity.
Very well. Just a moment of your time, and I'll just go look through the directory. And he wanders off. And he's gone for like 15 minutes, like a little long. 20 minutes, and then he comes back. Expression slightly changed, a little less like just sort of like humbly helping, a little more like he goes, hello sir, yes, I'm sorry, I didn't get your name.
Eastin.
A pleasure to meet you. I see, pleasure to meet you, Eastin. What was the last, sorry, did you say your last name?
I'm afraid I lost it on the journey here, or as I can say, I never really lost it. I never quite had it.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, Easton, I'm afraid to say, hemocraft is no, not on our public shelves. We do not have information regarding that particular form of magic. You mind if I ask why you are seeking such magics?
Like I said, the road brings many tales, and one I heard was that it stayed with my bones,
Just curiosity.
Yes, curiosity. Never quite sure what you find out there. And I'm a I'm not sure if you saw this, but I'm a rifleman of Whitestone.
Rifleman of Whitestone. All right. Well, thank you for telling me. And he'll continue to sort of like small talk with you pretty much as long as you will. And he just kind of is like really hanging on every word since he's returned. And eventually, like, you know, you're like, all right, well, I'll talk to you later. He goes, oh, very well. But yes, please take a look around. He will refer you. The closest he gets, he says, he refers you to, he says, we have a couple of tomes on folklore regarding necromantic magics, purely theoretical. It's legally practiced theoreticals of necromancy. That's the closest we would have to anything of that practice.
Well, thank you. You know, if like I said, it's just curiosity, and I'm gonna start kind of like walking backwards. You know, I might bump into something as I do.
He watches you as you go. Yeah. What's your passive perception?
My passive perception is a 14.
14. Okay, understood. Okay. Fantastic. Is that all?
And I'll just for curiosity, I'll not like go in. I like out of all the sites that I see, statues, definitely the one of the Raven Queen catches my eye for just like split second.
Yeah, you're walking by and you see this much more heavily avoided temple. Like people flow in and out of the Temple of Arathis and Bahamut easily like water. But there definitely is sort of like a drama around the Temple of Matrons that people definitely seem to sort of give it a birth, and it definitely has a much more gothic, darker style to its architecture. And you see, as you walk by it here and there, you never see anyone go in, nor do you ever see anyone go out.
Okay.
And it just, but it's, if you ask around, it's like, no, it's an active temple. You can go in there if you want, but I don't know why you'd want to, is basically what people would say.
Because it's almost touristy of me. Like, you know, I've like I said, I read and you know, I'm doing taking a picture in Times Square right now.
Absolutely. Seeing as Yvain isn't here at the moment, was that a computer? Oh, here she is. Do me a favor, Eastin, and roll me an even-sided dice. Let me know what you get, evens or odds.
I'm gonna roll a 6. That's a 6.
Okay. You know, Eastin, it's been a long road. And, you know, you find yourself laying your head down on the pillow in this sort of woman's abode in this spare room she has, and you've been working here at the gunpowder, and you go in for some rest, but not that restful. Oh, not restful at all. You have visions, one might even say, in the night. Nightmares by most, but just things that have been plaguing you for a while now, but so vivid. You're in the Parchwood Timberlands. It's been 4 days. Barely any food. Your water skin ran out a while ago. You're thirsty. You're tired. You're hungry. You've just been feeding on burnt rabbit. And it's the middle of the night. Night is bad, because that's when it comes. Leering out of the darkness, you see its approach past the campfire. Through those dark woods and the lightly hanging mist, you see those yellow eyes in the dark, peering forth at you. You see a maw of teeth, just a mangling of teeth. No regular creature born of the Wild Mother's creation would have anything like this. This monstrosity, this mutinous creature comes out. 6 legs. Are they arms or legs? Who's to say? But it comes crawling out. Skin pulled across its body tightly, like something's growing up and out from inside of it. A long forked tongue snakes out of its mouth as it looks at you from the dark. It towers over you, the size of a bear, no bigger, comes towards you as it always does at night. But you have your rifle. As it always does, you scare it off with the sound of the bang. It quakes, tracks into the darkness. But it comes back an hour later. The edge of the campfire disappears. Half hour later, it comes back. Comes back 10 minutes. Doesn't leave this time. It's gotten used to it. It's not so scared anymore. It comes into the campfire and you see its gray skin stretched across its face. And it is the face of your, shall we call him sponsor? Stretched across the face, teeth mangled out of its mouth, yellow leering eyes. One of the 3 eyes has been blown out from a past wound. But it looks at you mangled. You let me die. You let me die. I kill you now. And it comes at you. You fire off, blows one of its arms off. It keeps coming, and its hand, mawed and clawed, stabs into your chest and rips pieces of you apart. Chunk of flesh, and you feel every claw, every tearing, every pain. Blood, you scream in horror, someone save you, please. But no. No one comes, as you are torn to pieces. You'll wake up in terror of that, as the dreams always end that way, of the thing that you ran from, the thing that you encountered always comes back. You can't escape it, not even in your dreams. But it's not the only thing you dream about. You dream of walking into that room precisely when it happened. Of the man with dark eyes turns to you. This man you called brother once. Gun in hand, blood splattered across his face. He goes, "Sorry you're too late. But I'm leaving now, and you can't stop me." He blows out both of your kneecaps. You fall to the ground, unable to stop him, your rifle thrown to the side, and he steps over you calmly and carefully as he reloads his pistol. You are not a threat to him. You can't stop him as he leaves and steps over you. He goes, "See you in the afterlife." Walks out the door, nonchalantly. You are no threat. You can't help him. You make your way across the floor to this man who saved you, who saved your life. Not the way that you saved his life, but the way that a big brother saves someone's life, by giving him a new one. You put your hand on his chest, and he is gone. A hole in his head as he just stares at you. Dead, gone, soul on another plane, unavenged, and he won't be, because you die in the parch wood as that mutant comes for you. And he will go unavenged, and your life was not well spent. And you wake up again. The dream's over, it was just a nightmare. You need this vengeance. You need it like water. But God, you not want to go back to sleep. And as you go through the week, you go down to the shop, work on the gunpowder, you can't help but reflect on those yellow lies in the dark, stopped at the parchwood. And you'll notice Aline, she looks a little tired too, as she goes about the shop, trying to keep her enthusiasm about her throughout the week. But she isn't sleeping so soundly either.
Rough nights.
Well, when you gotta wake up the next morning and you gotta, play with gunpowder, it could be your last day. Who knows? Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna go sweep. Don't want any gunpowder under where the patrons step, don't want them to step on something and maybe drop a light and the whole shop blows up. That would be terrible.
Goes up. Yeah.
I don't know why I chose this career. My father. Anyway,
it's constantly inhaling the powder is not the best. Perhaps that's why the sleep's wrong.
I didn't even think of that. That's great.
I've been reading a lot, and I've long nights polishing the rifle, and that's not a euphemism.
I'm gonna go sleep.
Yeah.
And she walks away looking very haunted. And we are going. We're a little past breaks. We're going to go to a break. But Yvain, we are going to wrap up all the downtime with you when we return. We'll be back in 10-15 minutes. We'll wrap up with Yvain, and perhaps something will happen at the end of the week. Who's this? There we go. There, I like this much better. Sorry, Zarval, what did you say?
Yeah, let's hear about that.
Very well. Well, there are all the prime deities, and amongst them is, of course, our Wild Mother. The realm of the Wild Mother is far and vast, as I have no doubt that you two of you are quite sure of. You both look to be... Frankly, when you walked in, I thought you may be disciples already, but I was mistaken. I shouldn't assume. But she extends wherever the sea shifts, wherever the land grows, wherever trees are planted, and wherever mountains reach to the sky. She's the keeper of wilderness, and she represents the wild creatures of nature, the rush of the angry rapids, the heat-heavy stillness of the desert, the even the jungle. She is all of these things and more, and hunters, druids, nomads, they all worship her, seeking her blessing to live in harmony with the land. And though she is a god many seem to be gentle, make no mistake, she knows how to bear her fangs. Nature is a beautiful thing. It is green, and it brings peace and comfort. But it can be very wild and savage and dangerous, and this is the Wild Mother as well. She also happens, perhaps it is a point of interest to you, and she referenced the statue as she sort of like gestures off to the side. She says, it may be of interest for you to know that the Wild Mother has long been fabled to be the lover of Arathis, the lawgiver. Arathis representing civilization, and the Wild Mother representing nature, and the two needing to be in harmony for the world to be at peace. And that is where she points, as you can see from her statue. She points to Arathis, the statue that lays in the much larger temple across the square. If you wish to know the commandments of the Wild Mother, she dictates that one must protect the untamed wilderness from exploration and destruction, that the wild parts of nature are just as important as the civilized ones, to slay abominations and other mockeries of nature, and to embrace and respect that which you cannot control in this world, to exist in harmony with it instead. Chaos is a part of the wilds, and you must learn to accept that. This is the Wild Mother's way. And perhaps it is all of your way as well. You seem to, both of you have quite a wild way of the looks of you, if you don't mind my saying so.
Yvain will druid craft a lotus blossom, a swamp flower, and hand it to her.
Thank you. I will keep this, and maybe we'll grow more. Maybe when you return, there will be two.
They like heat.
Well, it is becoming autumn, so maybe it's not quite the season for it. Maybe next year.
Mother, she looks over the dark places of nature as well. Is that correct?
Indeed, just as there are deer, there are wolves.
He ponders.
Just as there are druids who protect and respect nature, there are the rangers that hunt them. And just as there are rabbits, there are hounds. Sort of like looking between the two of you amusedly.
That's fair.
Earthquakes and poisons are just as natural as sunrises.
Absolutely. You're quite right. There is no wrong way to be in nature, and nature is never wrong. What is wrong
is when one does not respect it, when one corrupts it. These are the poor things. And you're on the right track. Your concern for Shadebarrow shows it.
Well, did you get what you came for, which...
Thank you, ma'am.
Of course. And please, if ever you feel, you don't need to come and listen to me speak sermons, or any of us speak sermons if you do not wish, but if you want to dwell here and see the sights and smell the flowers, that's what nature's partly for. I hope we see you again, perhaps.
Are you ever in need of a healer? Like, do people come here need help ever?
Oh, of course. If you have some healing capabilities, we would always be happy to have a helping hand.
Oh, there you go. This is way better than outside of brothel.
What was that?
Nothing. She elbows him.
Shut up.
Yes, this will be better. I have some things to tidy up, but I can come back a little later, if that would be all right.
Of course. At your time. And she will tell you her name. But she is an elf, so get ready for this mouthful. Her name is Aloth Tal'Dorei.
Okay, what was that again, please?
Aloth, A-L-O-T-H. Aloth Tal'Dorei. Tal'Dhinry. She says, you may just call me Aloth. You do not need to extract the full mouthful every time you see me.
Fair.
And as we part company, I will give her the druid bow of respect before I step apart.
And she will say, well, mother, go with you. May she guide your steps.
As we're walking out, I'm going to say, well, Zarvalg, I don't know if that was the high priestess you were looking for, but it wasn't a bad place to start.
Oh, no, it wasn't a bad place at all. She certainly did have some advice that I think we would do well to heed.
I think we would all do well to heed it. All right. Well, I've got to get to the library to fetch us some work.
Okay.
All right.
Speaking of work, I have some work.
Her title would be Lightkeeper, by the way.
Lightkeeper. All right.
That's fancy.
Oh, actually, no, I take that back. Sorry. This person works in a lighthouse. That's why they're called the Lightkeeper. I was trying to find like a title for a priest here, but they're not giving me one.
Lightkeeper in where is Jester's mama from? Nicodramus.
Yeah. I was looking at, I'm looking at known worshippers to see if I can find anything, but nope. I don't think they have titles. There's only one title that I can find, but yeah, we're not worried about that. Okay. So, you go to the library, Yvain, and please send me whatever it is that you gave to Honor so that I know what she's reading. But yeah, you go to the library. Are you going to the Cobalt Reserve, I assume?
Yes.
Okay, you're in the Cobalt Reserve. You walk into this beautiful cathedral-like space.
I'm gonna look for the monk that I saw when I was with Honor.
Okay, I definitely remember who that is. He's sick. He's on sick leave today, and he probably will be forever.
Oh.
I'm afraid to say.
That's terrible. Can't
yep,
you just
sorry.
transferred to a warmer climate?
Yeah, you know what? That's much better. He got transferred. Maybe he got a promotion. That's much more positive. That is definitely better than what I said. But you find one of the monks here. And he goes, welcome to the Cobalt Reserve. What is it that I can do for you?
Do you have a few moments to talk? I have many questions about the reserve, and I'm not from around here at all.
Of course.
I'm Elaine of the Earth Ashari, and I'm from Terra, and a library would fit on part of one of your shelves. And I was here with my friend Aunt Miss Kanambari. When we were walking out, I asked if there was a place where I could pay for the monks who helped us, because I would never want to take someone's labor without compensation. That's just awful. And she said that there was a place right as we were walking out, but she said something about it being a house of worship. And I didn't think about it until later, because sometimes I'm slow, but is this a church?
This is a temple, indeed. Yes, I am one of the many monks here of the Cobalt Reserve, and here we worship the Knowing Mentor.
Do I need to roll to see if I know who she is?
Yes, you do.
Makes sense that I would know Melora.
Yeah.
That is a nat 20.
A nat 20. Well, here's the thing.
That nat 20 can be, I remember, oh yeah, 3 eyes.
I don't want to kill your nat 20, but you did walk in here before and go, what's going on?
Yeah.
And now you're here asking about it, so it wouldn't make sense. I don't want to kill your nat 20 though, so I'll say like, we'll maybe hold that for something of similar relevance.
Whatever. You know what? I failed the check. Let's just say I failed it.
Okay.
I'm gonna automatically fail.
All right. Sorry about that. That was
No, you're right.
poor on my part. It says, yes, we worship here the Knowing Mentor. I'd be happy to tell you more if that is of your interest.
Yeah, it is actually.
Very well, please. And he'll sort of walk with you, and he'll walk up to that symbol of the Knowing Mentor, this sort of old ruin-looking oval that might look like a mask with 3 eyes on it. And as you look closer, you can see just vaguely some symbols on it that you don't interpret very well. And he says, the Knowing Mentor, her worship hasn't been very prominent for a very long time. Really only we of the Cobalt Reserve dare to worship her openly, as she has many enemies. You see, during the Calamity, if you know of this event, it was then that the Knowing Mentor was greatly wounded by one of the enemies, one of the Betrayer gods. And since then, she has been recuperating her power. When a god is wounded, it takes much longer to heal from such wounds. And so she's gone quieter into hiding, but her enemies still hunt her followers. But we here of the Cobalt Reserve still worship her, and we still remember, and we collect and protect knowledge in her name.
And I'm so sorry, I don't remember his name. I'm sometimes not good with names. But the monk who is helping us, we were looking for information on NKEGs because they've been attacking the plains cows. They'd taken about 4 dozen of them. And when he left, he said, make a note of it. And I thought it was strange that a librarian would be interested in plains cows. And I thought, well, perhaps he's making a farmer's almanac. But perhaps it's something more. Anyway, we're very grateful. I'm the healer for the Aurora Concordant, and we contracted to handle it, and we were able to exterminate them, not in small part because of what we learned here. So I brought this report because...
Oh, thank you very much. And he'll take that from you, and he says, yes, we record much of everything. We try and record as much as possible, including histories of the cities and so on and so forth. And this is the largest Cobalt Reserve here in Tal'Dorei. So we try and keep track of everything.
We'll
but
produce
indeed,
2 more scrolls and say that in the region there was some poaching going on in the summit peaks. Not very interesting, except the ring was being run by a Quasit, which is somewhat more interesting.
very interesting. Yes, thank you. We're always, when demons pop up, we're always interested.
Just out of Stillben, in a place called Dung Hill, they're having periodic, not weekly, but every now and then, mounds will just rambling come alive. and they steal people who meet them. It's like animated rubbish. He has to handle it.
So we'll, if you wish to, you can give this guy a full telling of your tales, and we could call it that if that is what you wish.
Well, no, she specifically wrote everything out because the monk had seemed interested. So
yeah, so you give him writings on all of your various adventures and things that have occurred on your travels, and he takes them and he goes, "This is incredibly generous of you, Yvain of the Aurora Concordant. Thank you. I'm a little overwhelmed, I'll admit. I'm curious. Are you? This might seem like a strange question, but do you have interest in joining the reserve?
What does that mean, joining the reserve? I don't know that I'm made out to become a priest or a monk. My talents are somewhat otherwise. Although I enjoy information, and I'm seem to be good at acquiring it.
These are all things that we appreciate here, and we are indeed monks. As far as monk and warriors, indeed, many of us are, but not exclusively. I'm a vast majority, but not exclusively. But what you see is perhaps what you have. If you're a busy individual, then maybe this life might not be entirely for you, but we do travel here and there. Let me tell you some. And you will. And you'll say, well, there are, of course, archivists and the curators themselves, but I myself am a monk. I am just a humble monk of the library, and I am responsible for the public duties, which is archiving, keeping track of the books. But more than that, many monks are responsible for searching out knowledge, both modern and archaic, and aiding in the archiving and preservation of that information.
I would be happy to. I don't know how to go about giving you information as I travel, but I'd be happy to. I've had a difficult time sending post for a bunch of letters to send my parents, and it's frightfully expensive. But if there's a way to get information to you, I'm happy to give it. I've some more that I didn't really want to put in writing because it's based off of my ability to interpret information and what I read on people's faces, which could be wrong. I could be completely wrong. But it interested Corin, who's one of the elders in Zephyr.
Very interesting. I will say, if you were wishing to join and become a monk, it is a volunteering position, but we do provide room and board for monks here in the Cobalt Reserve. But I could, of course, speak to an archivist and see if they'd be interested in taking you on as a monk of the Cobalt Reserve. And then perhaps as well as you're on your travels, you might be able to walk with that status. And as you gain information, we would be more than happy to accept it from you. Perhaps take some time. It's a big decision.
The biggest part of it is the worshipping part. I don't, if I'm signing up to be a religious figure of a goddess, I don't feel called to that.
And that is all right.
I'm very much called to help people communicate.
A person's relationship with the gods is their important and personal business. What we ask of our monks is to find knowledge, modern and archaic, and help us archive it so that it may be preserved. And in doing this, you'll be providing all the worship we require from you of the knowing mentor. And you are free to have whatever faith you find comfort with.
Sign me up.
Well, okay then. And he will, please fill out this monk application. And he will, and yeah, today he will talk to you a bit about, he will find an archivist an individual sort of superior who is charged with the organization of the information flowing through, and he'll take a look at what you provided, and he'll say, "These are very thorough. I'd be very happy with all of this." And we're gonna give him an identity. So this monk that you spoke to, we can give him an identity too if you wish. But this gentleman that you end up speaking to is much older. Or actually, I'll just use this person. This older woman, in her 60s, definitely looks like she works behind a desk, but still in impressively good shape. She does wear long cobalt robes. They have a slightly better trimming to them than what the regular monks do possess, a little less simple. Just smooth white skin, brown hair, green eyes. And she will say, "Well, this is an impressive amount of information. If you're interested in joining and becoming a monk here at the Cobalt Reserve, I would be more than happy to find you a place to lay your head. And if you wish to work here for the week, we could see where your talents lay. But if you do well at the end of the week, we'd be more than happy to make it official."
Making it official. What I'm hoping to do is give you information, but I don't know that I'm cut out to be a librarian, and I don't want
understand.
to mislead you.
I understand. You will be under no requirement to remain here within the Cobalt Reserve. As I hope it was explained, as he looks at the monk and he goes, "No, I did." He goes, our monks are not only, monks take on clerical and library duties here, but many monks go out in exploration and adventure for the finding and the bringing back of knowledge. So you may serve the reserve either within the reserve itself or going out into the world and finding and bringing back knowledge. This is perfectly acceptable.
Excellent. I'm in.
Very well. Let's get them set up, shall we? And with that, you may add to your inventory a set of robes, which are Cobalt Soul robes that mark you as a monk. And you may also take, and they will give it to you regardless, a holy symbol of the Knowing Mentor, which you can keep in your pocket or you can wear or whatever you please. And they also give you a place to rest your head should you require. And I think they're going to set you up with something that's going to mark you a member of the Cobalt Soul. Give me half a second to figure out what that is.
Am I getting a second tattoo?
Yeah.
I don't know if they're that creative.
Sure, babe. Ooh, ha, ha.
Okay, hit me up. All right, do it. I'm looking for here it is. This should tell me. Okay, half a moment. I need to do a little jumping through. I didn't expect someone to join the Cobalt Soul. Half did, but not fully. Let's see here.
There's too much access to information for Elaine to walk
That's
away.
it. Absolutely, yeah.
What's the Cobalt Soul gonna do when the heart of the mountain is one of their monks?
They're gonna be like, I think they would probably assume at that point that you're not a monk anymore. They're like a close associate, probably. Yeah, they're gonna give you the vest, or they're gonna give you like the monastic robes. They're gonna give you the amulet, and I think they're gonna give you, God, I'm trying to think. Like, what would they give you as like a marker? I'm gonna just say they give you like a pendant. They give you a pendant that represents the Cobalt Soul. Actually, no, I take it back. You have robes, and if you need to be a representative of the Cobalt Soul, you can wear those robes. I might change that later if I go lore diving and find something, but for now, we'll say they give you the robes and they give you the holy amulet. And you are now officially a monk of the Cobalt Soul. That is your rank. You are the rank of monk.
Well, I guess I'm going to go move my stuff and start working. I got two things. Well, actually, yeah, I've got two things I'm going to look up at some point. And I'm going to do some healing in any other free time that I have at Melora's place. Then getting together with whoever wants.
Okay, so the last point of order I'm going to say is that the last thing you'd be told is like, you can work in the Cobalt Reserve as you please, and when you have information, you would report to this individual who just had you set up. Their name is Robin Fenwick, and she is a Cobalt Soul Archivist. Of the Westrunn Cobalt Reserve. So she is your superior here.
Above the table. Isn't this Alora's place?
Allura? No, the Cobalt Reserve worships the Knowing Mentor.
And
the God
this
of
is
knowledge.
above the table because I did. Okay.
Yeah. Allura's place, like Allura by Soren?
Yeah, like I feel like she was. There's a place that she is often, like not reside her place, but some place that she does stuff often.
You're absolutely right. This isn't it.
Okay.
She maybe shows up from time to time for knowledge, but this is not her base of operations, if that makes sense. Okay, so now for the actual downtime section, you want to go to work. Well, you don't really need to go to work now because you have a place to stay if you want to do something else.
Oh, all right. I'm gonna
Or
look.
you could just try and earn some coin.
Cool. Well, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look up everything I can on Grumpsh and the Ravagers. And any local reports on what's been going on out and about there, because we've got trouble in the Briarwood. No, not the Briarwoods, Thornwoods, Russellwoods, some kind of woods.
Okay. Okay.
And I'm going to look up the location of several houses' descendants.
Okay, you can pick one as you go into extensive research. Okay, the Ravagers and Grumsh. Go ahead, and so you're going to research this week. Go ahead and make me. You're going to have access to the library. Go ahead and make me.
You want to use that 20 I rolled earlier?
Sure. Let's use the 20 you rolled earlier. And you are going to gain 3 pieces of lore. So let's frickin' do it. I don't need this anymore. So the first piece of information I'm going to give you is about their patron deity, which is Grumsh. The Ruiner. So, the Ruiner. He commands the roving hordes of barbaric marauders across the land to destroy, pillage, and slaughter for the joy of it. Orderless and without honor, the creeds of the evil lord goad all living creatures to shrug off the oppressive chains of courtesy and civilization, and to devour the world around them, giving in to the chaotic and selfish nature of the predator. This is Grumsh. And he has commandments. They are 3. The first one is this: ruin, ravage, kill. That is the first. The second: the weak exist to be crushed by the strong. Be the strong. The third is there is no emotion but fury and joy. The rest are weakness. These are the commandments of Grumsh. He is evil. He is mean. He is bad. He is often represented to be a massively hulking, bulbous behemoth of an orc with one eye, which he lost during the calamity when the Archheart, Coralon, shot his eye out in a battle. The patron of elves. The god of slaughter longs for the days that he could return the favor twofold, so he particularly hates elves. This is Grumsh. Now, that's your first piece of lore. Second piece of lore. This is about the Ravagers. Or not the Ravagers, not those cool guys, but the Ravagers. Well, I'm here. I think while I'm here, I'm going to give you Library of Cobalt Soul faction handout on Roll20. And now I'm going to go get the Ravager faction. The second piece of lore you gain is the Ravagers. This is new lore. The Ravagers are indeed worshippers of Grumsh, and all of them undergo basically fucked up rituals, is what the books say. They undergo rituals to become what they are. The people you met in the woods were, as you come to know, were goblins until they underwent this terrible rite that transformed them into these like psychotic but perfectly obedient worshippers of Grumsh. They are led by warlords known as the Slaughter Lords. These are behemoth, terribly powerful creatures that worship Grumsh. Wanton, chaotic slaughtering are words that please the Ruiner. The last piece of information I'll give you is about Westrunn itself and its response to the Ravagers. Inside the walls of Westrunn, however, the Lord Mayor Lysandra Kalos and her counselors worry that the Ravagers are showing better organization than their bloodthirsty warlords should be capable of instilling within a single cult. There is some suspicions within the higher political portions of the place that something else is influencing them and making them more organized than just roaming bands of slaughtering barbarians. They seem a little too intelligent as of late. These are the 3 pieces of lore you gain in your week of research.
All right. So.
And we're going to move on because I want to get to Jewel of Twilight. We got 15 minutes to do so. But we got one last thing we need to deal with, Yvain. It's not happy stuff either.
Yeah, I know.
Boy, oh boy, Yvain. It was good that you talked to Zarvalg about his nightmares, but kept yours to yourself, as perhaps what you learned was a little personal. You remember the dark of the woods, and the scintillating colors, how wonderful they were. But in this dream, they're almost too vivid, where the flowers are just too red, almost dripping with blood. The greens of the trees were like toxic, and the grass was green and yellow but sickly, like it was dying. And all around you, the spiders and the monsters and the beasts of nature curled in. And all fell upon you. And in that place, something happened to you. You were meant to be like your mother, a hunter. Much like Zarvalg, that's who you were supposed to be. But that forest, in its savagery, in its nature, much like all these books that you learn that put chills down your spine of the Ravager, of the savagery of the Predator, these predators, these giant spiders, these wolves of the forest, these things unlike anything you've ever seen before came, and they did something to you. They defiled your nature. You were meant to be a ranger. Tap the primeval and use it to hunt. But they flooded you with nature. They changed you and put a seed of nature deep within your core. Many would see this as good, and maybe you have until now, but you can't help think of Shadebarrow. Maybe it's not so good. All things come from nature, their own natures in their own ways, but maybe something about that forest wasn't truly nature. Maybe what powers you have now come from some other dark, twisted thing. You recall the cave, how you battled the Sahaugen, how you took the scroll of the priest there, and you use it now every day to light the stars before you and shine magic and radiant, burning people. And it felt good and light. But you remember those who died at your hand, those who burned under the flames of radiant energy. And you look down at the scroll, and the scroll almost opens up with a maw as if it is to devour your own mind. How this seed of nature that was thrust upon you by the primeval dark forces of nature, and this knowledge of this scroll, how they've come together and they have changed all that you are. Could your mother see you now? Oh yes, you see her now. And in your dream, you approach Terra, and she looks at you. She says, "Who are you? This isn't... Who are you?" And you feel the dark of the nights collapse upon you, and you're so alone. You look around and maybe call for your friends, for Finch to protect you from the darkness, from Ember to light it before you, from Zarvalg, your good friend, to come to you and for comfort. Even then, even happy, You are in the mountains. You are alone, and nature has swallowed you. It is not controlled within you. You burn bright like the night sky and the stars above. But who's to say the stars are good things? Perhaps they burn so brightly because they are just suns dying. Maybe nature's eating you alive. You feel this power in nature sort of rise within you, vines inside of your skin, piercing out of your skin. You have failed. As you look into your mother's eyes, and she looks at you, and your father sort of behind her protectively, and your mother looks at you with yellow eyes in the night and says, "You were just supposed to go to Whitestone. This isn't what we teach at the Ashari. You have been eaten alive by knowledge. The civilized world has ruined you, Yvain. Begone! I banish you! Banish you! Banish you! Banish you! You're alone, and the only comfort you have is the wolves of the night, the howling, the darkness. You have no friends. You're alone. You sort of wake, not like all the others do, but yours is a deep breath in as you feel sorrow in your heart. That nature took you from all the things that you wanted and loved, books, people, homes, civilization. You were meant for the lonely corners of the earth, but your heart does not want that. Will you be alone? Time will tell. Jewel of Twilight, Westrunn is yours. What would you like to do?
Jewel would like to go about town and do her regular tasks for her organization.
Mm-hmm.
But also, she's going to decide to kind of keep an eye on the other people in the party just to see what they're up to, see what they're all about, see what she can learn about them.
Sure. Okay. So I'll tell you what. Keeping an eye on your friends I don't think is going to be too hard. I feel like you guys are going to meet up in the night and maybe see where they're going and kind of see like Finch coming in and out of the temple as expected, and Ember hanging around the taverns, Arvo going out hunting, and so on and so forth. And you're going to learn about them as you go. And the activities they've described, I'm sure you'll have found out about quite easily. This is your town, after all, more than anybody here. But why don't we do some crime? You want to do some crime?
Yeah, let's do some crime.
Let's do some crime. Okay, so your organization's definitely going to hook you up with some crime. And they're going to say to you, all right, so, want a score? How big a score are we talking here, Jewel?
Let's say just enough to keep me going for the week. I mean, it's been expensive.
It's fair. So, what do you think? So let's rob a merchant. Let's get you set up. Rob some poor merchant here. And you guys kind of go looking around, and you see one merchant that's doing pretty good for themselves, and you see another one that's struggling a little bit more. And he goes, I mean, obviously that one's the better mark, but he's got guards. You could always go after the struggling one over there. That'd be easy money. Less money, but easy money. Your choice. What you want?
Well, I hate to see a man down on his luck already, so why not go for the man with deeper pockets?
Oh, look at you, some kind of altruistic thief. How interesting. All right, let's get to work. And with that, I'm going to need you to drop 25 gold pieces if you have it. Do you have it? No? What do you got?
10.
10? Drop 10. Your organization will cover the rest. They'll put it on loan, and they'll say, whatever you get, you owe us 15 gold for this information, all right?
Mm-hmm.
So you owe your criminal organization 15 gold pieces. Okay. So, you go through the week, you prepare yourself, and then it's time for the theft. At the end of the week, I need you to make me a series of checks. We're going to start with a stealth check.
I'm usually good at those. 15 plus 5, dirty 20.
Sweet. Okay. You're very stealthy, you're keen, and you keep to the shadows, and there will be no problems there. That is one success. The next, I need you to make a Thieves' Tools check, dexterity-based Thieves' Tools check.
Okay, so what do I roll for that? Just my dex?
Dex plus proficiency, you should be proficient being a thief.
Yes.
You might have expertise if you picked that.
I do have expertise.
Alright, if you got expertise in Thieves' Tools, then you'll add your proficiency bonus twice.
Okay, so that's 4 plus 3. So I'm adding 7 to that. Natural 20.
Natural 20, that is absolutely a success. You find your way to their lockbox and make your way in, and you take the payload out. Last but not least, I need you to pick between the following ones, and you can take whichever one you want. You can do either investigation, perception, or deception. Your choice.
Perception.
All right, go for it.
That is a 17 plus 6.
That
plus
is
7.
absolutely fantastic. That is absolutely a success. With your keen perception in the night, you're able to keep track of where the guards are and get around them without issue. There were a couple traps and triggers here, but you get around them with ease, and you're going to make out with the full loot value of your crime. You are going to make 100 gold pieces.
Okay, minus 15.
Minus 15 to pay off the organization. Compensation channels. If the character succeeds on one check, the character follows and gold in the card. Luckily for you, you get off scot-free. You wait in the following, like the next day, to see if anybody caught anything, if there was any mistakes. It seems that you are complication-free, my friend.
Okay.
Oh, never mind. You're not quite so lucky. You're doing crime, so there's always going to be a complication.
Fair enough.
Let's see what fallout happens for you, my friend. As you, the next day comes and you go to see what the fallout is, and you kind of hear around the organization, you get told, "Oh yeah, I heard that that merchant got hit." Obviously, this is all in Thieves' Camp. It says, "Yeah, the merchant that you robbed, good job on that, by the way. Yeah, he got hit, but turns out he had a little bit of a favor from a god, and the one responsible for tracking down whoever took all that gold. They've doubled their efforts, so keep an eye over your shoulder. They seem pretty committed to finding whoever did that, calling in favors and such."
I shall watch my back.
All right. And with that, you will, you'll have been successful. And that is the work week. At which point, I'm going to point out something glaringly obvious that is beginning to sort of come about. As the week has gone on through various means, Ember, your teacher, Wax, Finch, the various people who come to prostrate before Bahamut, Eastin, your employer, Zarvog, maybe the farmers that you visited, Yvain, the various people that you speak to around the various temples, Jewel, some of even the criminals, and just people on the street. More and more, people are starting to look a little tired, vexed, and by the end of the week, at the last the fifth day, rumors gone around and talk in the town is that nightmares are happening to people all over Westrunn, young and old, and somebody's got to do something. And as you're all sitting down to have a breakfast together, as it seems become a thing for the Aurora Concordant, the door opens, and a cleric walks through. This is a half-elven cleric of Bahamut, who walks up to your table, and is going to smile at all of you and look at you specifically, Finch. and is going to say, apologies, I don't mean to disrupt your breakfast. Are you Finch Endegard?
Yeah, I am.
Paladin of Bahamut?
Yes, that's correct.
Clearly. Paladin, Bahamut summons you now to aid in the temple. If you'd come with me, the keeper of the temple would very much like to speak with you about a mission that needs solving. If this is your group of adventurers, please, by all means, bring them. But Samar does call you to service, if he calls you to service.
Yeah, I'll look around briefly at the table, and I'll just kind of like catch like the original party's eye, and just kind of like
Vane's already standing up.
Yeah, nod, and like we'll go.
He smiles. Everybody, the Aurora Concordant and new members alike, proceed to, so many documents, to Bahamut's Rest. All of you, for the first time, walk in. Finch, you've been here many times, but all of you see the beautiful alabaster-columned, silver-embellished, stained glass windowed Temple of Bahamut with the massive statue of the Platinum Dragon himself and the beautiful stained glass of blues and silvers and platinums. And you approach this dwarf, who's none too tall, little thin, maybe mistaken for a halfling with the black comb-backed hair. He says, Finch, thank you for coming on such short notice. I hope it wasn't to your detriment at all.
Oh, no, absolutely not. How can we be of service?
Indeed, I think it is time. You've been talking so much for a sign from Bahamut, and, well, I'm a great believer that Bahamut shows his face in many ways, and one of which is when it comes to the god of protection. He gives us circumstances in which we need to protect the people, and such a time, I think, has come. No doubt you've heard the rumors of the bad dreams and such.
I have.
Well, it just so happens that yesterday, something else happened, and we think it might be related. A miner came running into town from the Bramblewood. You see, a couple of miners were on their way north, on their way to... He takes out a scroll paper for like cliff notes, and he keeps going. He says, he was making his way north to take a shift at the Murdoon mines past the Bramblewood, the base of the Gat Shadow. And, well, his crew was murdered.
Murdered, you say?
I don't know if murdered's quite the right word. Allow me to explain better. You see, there is a tale about the Bramblewood. I just need to know what it is.
I will think of it.
I will think it's coming to me. There it is. Local folklore speaks of a spectral woman of the Bramblewood, a young woman, sometimes appears along the roads throughout the forest, sobbing and leading men deeper into the Bramblewood, never to be seen again. And these were thought to be tales of generally childish consideration, ghost stories to keep the children away from the Bramblewood. But, well, the miner came running in, and at that very fabled spot, his crew was killed. He didn't see what happened, and I'm sure you can take some time to speak to him, and I'll give you the information. But his mining crew was found dead there at that fabled spot, completely unwounded, and looks of terror stretched across their lifeless faces. We think it was this very tale coming to life. Whether it's related to the dreams or not, we do not know, but regardless, the people need protection from this danger. So we call upon you, Paladin Finch, to mete out Bahamut's justice and protect the people of Westrunn. Will you meet the call?
Yeah, we're happy to serve. Do you have the information that we can use to contact this person and just find out a little bit more?
Of course. He's staying here, and you'll be more than welcome to speak to him. And we'll tell you where that spot is that you might go investigate for yourself. Please, right this way. And if all are willing to go, you may speak with this miner and figure out what has happened to him. Things are happening in Westrunn. Darkness has fallen upon the entire city. Danger, perhaps, has fallen in the Bramblewood. Maybe these two things are related. Maybe it's a red herring. Who knows? But one thing is certain, is the Aurora Concordant has been called to action, and something must be done. And that is where we'll end the session.
Yeah.
That was metal.
Yeah.
It was sweet.
All right.